The following is a special presentation of the PDF Sports Network.
Hey, what's going on, family? Back at the homestead, indeed. A lot of running around, a lot of awesome times, man. Get a chance to travel around this country. It's an absolute awesome place. So, as usual, hey, what's going on? Sound is good. Cool. Checking the comments, and we are ready to roll. Say good morning to everybody. I do have to get updated on my pages because they change from time to time. Let me go back to this. What I do? To my groups up here. Move up there. EFA, what's up? Independence, what's up? Bleezy's, what up? Players Lounge, all my New England folk. Great seeing you yesterday. I was able to fly back in from Chicago. All my Midwest people, what up? Man, I saw, boy, the heartland, boy. When I tell you where I was, oh boy. Some absolute great things, great people, and also a lot of, a lot of poverty. As I drove through the backwoods in a lot of these areas that America forgets about oftentimes, so it was pretty dope. What's up to all my New England people? What's up? Let's check out. No, that's not it. Whatever. Long Island United, that's youth. And hope everybody had an awesome summer. We had a little bit of football yesterday, as the Bleezys have been under construction for a few weeks now. Can't wait to get those guys back and up and at 'em, back to the regular show on Thursdays. Big shout out to Kadeem, big shout out to Ramsey, and of course Steph Lova. They're getting ready for high school football season. Big shout out to all those guys out there that are coaching high school football. I saw that Shaw Burnett over at Spelman brought some of our semi-pro coaches over to Cardinal Spelman, so we definitely got to check out a game or two of theirs during the course of the season. And I will tell you about my travels. Semi-Pro Sports Center, what up? MLA Elite page, I'll leave that alone. Semi-Pro Coast to Coast, there you go. What up, Coast to Coast people? And again, if there is a group that I am not currently part of, please let me know, and I definitely will jump in there as well to simulcast the show. Sundays between 9 and 10, again, our summer hours, usually during the regular part of the year. We are 9 a.m. on Sunday, but for the sake of today and the sake of the summertime, especially moving around, kids got sports and stuff like that, we are at usually like 10 o'clock or whenever we could fit the broadcast in. So indeed. All right, so let's see the good mornings at this point. Okay. Awesome. What up, Marcus? What's up? All right. So let's talk football, shall we? The first thing on the agenda is the LAL. Again, I think that we had enough lives about all the ills of semi-pro football in the same exact conversation that occurs every single year. So I'm not going to kill that horse even further than how it's already dead. So the LAL game that stands today, it's a 2 o'clock kick in Allentown, Pennsylvania, because there's Allentown, New Jersey. Allentown, Pennsylvania, it's EPR and the Seminoles. The first round of that was a bit of a beating. It was a 26 or 28 to nothing drubbing from the Seminoles. They took care of business. That game was in New Jersey last time, and now they're heading out to Pennsylvania. So, you pull up the spread on that. Boom, boom. In that game, it's tough to get excited about that one. I'm going to be honest with you. Again, EPR is in their building stages and such, and don't really expect much out of them. I'm on the wrong page. Bleezy's. There it is. So if you go to the Bleezy page, you can see that I put up the spreads yesterday. Oh, the spreads were somewhere. I definitely put the spread up. Maybe I did put the spread up. It could possibly be. That's how awesome this summer season is going in the LAL. So if you scroll down, GDFL had some games yesterday, and other leagues are coming to a close. I was able to head up to New England for an ECFL game. Bunch of uniform suppliers. Nope. Bunch of uniform suppliers. Coach Black's Live, that was awesome as well. Nonetheless, I think there's one other way I can find it. Give me a second. No. 28 recent media. See all recent media. Maybe I didn't post it. All right. Nonetheless, make sure you check out Way Too Early with Patt. LAL's done Patt. Give the Knowles the chip and call it a season. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure. Again, you can't count the Pharaohs out. I think the Pharaohs-Knowles game is something that everybody is looking forward to. It's an interesting matchup between the two of them. The Bears, every time that you count them out, they put a thumping on somebody. So I think it's a little premature to declare anybody the champion there. However, I do agree that the dwindling of the teams down to now 4 teams is absolutely whack, 100%. And definitely not much to get excited about there. However, on the other side of things, the EFA had 2 games on the schedule, and they had 1 team sitting, which is the New York Bandits. So they have 5 what appears to be very functioning teams. The Gravediggers went up to Connecticut and beat the Tar Heels 26-6. Big shout out to the Gravediggers, who are on a roll right now. Definitely got to check them out, because last time we saw them, they always had the talent. Again, they had flashes of talent in a few places. They just don't have the depth. And again, with all the discussions about 55-man rosters, 65-man rosters, 80-man rosters, the Gravediggers can get it done with 20. And one of the few teams that absolutely can get it done with 20. So, not that you should be getting it done with 20. That's a little tough. But, yeah, 20 is tough. What up, X? How you doing, sir? Another one of the alumni in the circuit that are doing his thing when it comes to defense. What happened? You guys gave up points? You gave up points yesterday, but Demon Knights are also on a roll, and we definitely don't want to bury the lead on that one. Demon Knights beat the Kingston Lions 28-6 yesterday, and the EFA has some really good football that nobody ever takes a look at, because they do a very poor job at promoting themselves. However, I will promote them because they have some good football out there. So, Gravediggers took care of the Connecticut Tar Heels. Let me go ahead and give the graphic its respect due. Boom. Gravediggers, who were a 7.5-point favorite, ends up taking care of business by 20. You saw the over-under was 33.5. They ended up at 32, so the under hit. And Demon Knights, who were a 10.5-point favorite, ended up covering that, had a 22-point margin of victory. 34. So the points were the under. So, oh, you gave up a kick return on the first play. Oh, you got to get those boys ready to play immediately. That's no good. Come on, coach. And usually the rookie coach, or the coach that's the last one in, is the one that hangs at the one that handles and makes sure that the special teams was solid. Special teams was definitely the story yesterday as well in the ECFL game with the Generals and the Bulls, which was a good game. EFA's Secret Society, the loud and obnoxious can't join. Gotcha. Maybe that's what keeps the football playing in there. The loud and obnoxious can't join, so they just managed to play football and call it a day. So, and then meanwhile in the LAL, sorry I had to do it because, again, I spent time on the graphic. Boom. This is the EFA summary right there. Pretty much where we're at. So, let's talk about it. And again, the discussion and the hours and hours and hours of lives from so many different people. We're going to kind of move on from that and talk about what we got next. So EFA, when you go to their schedule, so now, boom, 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 and I'll go to week 6, which will be the weekend of September 6th. So we go into Labor Day weekend with a break. So the actual, I wouldn't call it bye week, but you have an off week for Labor Day weekend, and then they get back to action the weekend of September 6th. And in that particular case, you have a battle of winless teams. You have the Tar Heels and the Lions playing each other in Connecticut. So that should be a good one. Evenly matched teams trying to get their first win of the season. And then in the second game, we have a rematch of the EFA championship game from last year with the New York Bandits and the Patterson Gravediggers. And the Bandits are home for that one. So that should also be a pretty good matchup, especially the way the Gravediggers have been playing lately. They're on a bit of a hot streak. And again, the Bandits are just doing what they do for the last 2 years, which is win football games and keep it moving. So that's it for the EFA. The LAL next week, if we could go by that, they are off for the holiday as well. And then they get back to action the following week. Apparently on the schedule, everybody is playing, all 4 teams. The New York Bears are going to be hosting East Penn, and the Brooklyn Seminoles are going to be hosting the Pharaohs. So that Seminoles-Pharaohs game should be a good one. It says 3 o'clock game. I'm assuming that's going to be at Kings Bay. So it should be awesome. Definitely could be makings of game of the year coming out of the Labor Day weekend. So we'll, in fact, go 2 weeks without playing football. And the Pharaohs we wouldn't have seen for a few weeks because they had an off week this week. That's why they played their inter-squad scrimmage. I'm not sure when that's going to be, but that's what they were doing to keep themselves in the action, so to speak. So, and that is the games from this week. So, moving on. Here we go. Little vacation recap. So I'll just fly through this really quickly. As you know, we started off a couple weeks ago. We definitely gave you the review from this one. The Bills and Giants game, able to head up to Buffalo, New York, and check out some action from the Bills and Giants game. And since then, by the way, the Giants have been a little bit on a tear. Dare I even say that their quarterback play has been pretty solid. Jackson Dart has looked solid. 100%. He's absolutely looked solid. And the Giants, although you don't get any credit for winning preseason games, that's what it is. And, of course, Sean Kellman's favorite player of all time, the GOAT, Jameis Winston, the Mr. Crablegs himself. So that was an absolute awesome time. Moving forward, boom, boom, boom. Then the following week, we were in Atlanta checking out the Falcons and the Titans. Cam Ward actually looked pretty solid as well. We saw a big time defensive, matchup. I think it was a couple pick sixes in this one. Absolutely awesome. Preseason football, and of course, Coach Black was able to hang out. Took the flight down to Atlanta and we saw Brandon Davis's son throw a touchdown pass in his first high school football game, leading his team to a 36-6 victory or whatever it was. But one way or another, it was 1-0 and moved on to the next week. So what did we end up doing after that? Really quickly, boom, boom, boom. So took the family down to Branson, Missouri. That's Anthony on the slide. Cecilia on the slide. Cecilia on the slide again. Boom. Branson, Missouri. Pretty cool experience. We went to Dogwood National Forest. I'll do a little clip video of this to make it quick. Fed some fish. This is the guy that owns or started Bass Pro Shops. He basically just bought out a whole entire park in the middle of Branson, Missouri, and made a nature preserve and a whole bunch of things. This is on the Arkansas, Missouri border, so that was pretty dope. Bunch of cool things. And I'm not sure if you ever see the show Treehouse Masters. The guy Nelson, whatever his name is. We actually, there you go, roll it from there. Nelson, I'm forgetting his name, but nonetheless, one of his tree houses is us rolling through the woods. We were able to check out one of his tree houses that he built for this nature preserve in Dogwood Canyon. That's us just getting out on the side of the road in Missouri. Some river action and such. Driving through backwoods of Arkansas and seeing all walks of life. And you talk about America. And it's funny that a lot of people debate me about America and, you know, the state of, you know, politics and stuff like that. And I think you get a better look at it when you're actually driving around and seeing people and meeting people that are in these states, whether it be red states or blue states, so you can get a better idea of what actually is going on around these countries. So that's the resort that we're in, a little paddle boat in action, good times, boom. And then from there, Rawlings. So Rawlings has the Rawlings Experience in St. Louis, Missouri, where we were able to check out their bats and actually got custom gloves and everything like that. Pretty dope. And then they have this monitor that you could be at any major league ballpark or a little league ballpark like, you know, Citi Field, home of the New York Mets Little League team, that type of stuff. Ooh, yeah, the wife heard that. The wife hears everything. She's a Mets fan. But hey, your boy was able to take some swings in the cage too. Boom. Then we went to the Arc. That's the St. Louis Arch. Pretty cool. You get to stand in front of the lights and do silly dances in front of the lights. This is St. Louis Busch Stadium. And cutting back and forth. We run through it real quick. Did the tour of Busch Stadium, which is really dope. Got to go on the field and the, you know, bullpen and such, as you could see. Pretty dope time. And again, I'll post a little video, just a little recap. St. Louis is absolutely awesome. By the way, barbecue, Red's Barbecue in St. Louis. It's not in downtown St. Louis. Best barbecue I've ever had. Point blank, period. So, we went to Springfield, checked out the final resting place of Abraham Lincoln. Springfield area had also a museum dedicated to Lincoln. Civil War type stuff. We got a few history guys. And check out my page. You can check that out. Then we headed up to Michigan and went to Lake Michigan on the beach. Did some beach action there. This is Indiana. There was around the Michiana area, there was a awesome Washington Square Park, I think it's called. And the Washington Square Park has a zoo with a whole bunch of very cool animals. Very cool experience. Big shout out to those folks. You were able to feed birds. Like birds would just land on you and you'd feed them on this little stick thing that had bird seed. It was pretty cool. So, oh, there it is. There's Anthony with the birds. And there's some ideas with the family, especially when you're going into the bye week. Make this football related. You got the bye week coming up for Labor Day. What are you doing for Labor Day? Especially if you drag your family to semi-pro football games all summer long and all spring long. Oh, that's a wolf that they're sitting next to. That was pretty cool. That's the pool in Chicago. Yeah, so we stayed in the Hilton Chicago. That was pretty cool as well. Walked around Chicago, had Owls right next to Wrigley Field, which was really awesome. Walked Millennial Park. Very cool experience. Life-size chess. I beat Anthony because, you know, I'm better than him. Did the train around, and that's pretty much it. So, all together, we hit up Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Illinois. Cairo, Illinois, by the way, absolutely crazy to see. When you talk about poverty, it's absolutely gives you some perspective really quick. Indiana, Michigan, I think that's it. Oh, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's in there somewhere too. So, awesome experience. Again, right now I'm at 49 out of 50 states traveled to. And then for those of you playing football for the Nationals team, you saw the postings for that. That's going to be in Hawaii December 4th to the 8th or something like that. And that'll give me number 50. 50 out of 50. Good time. So that's a wrap up of vacation. Let's talk about what's coming up football-wise. Again, nothing coming up this week because of the Labor Day weekend. But NEFL has action, and it starts with the New England Bombers. The Bombers are now at 10-0. They finished their perfect regular season with 400 points scored, 93 points surrendered. Put you over here. Boom. Bandits finished in second place in AAA division with a 7-3 record, followed by Middleborough at 6-4. In the AA division, Windsor Flyers are at 8-0. They ended up scoring 240 points, surrendering only 54. And then in single A, Rhode Island Riptide finished with a 6-0 record. Good job for those guys. And I included them on the rankings because we've dwindled down to so few teams at this particular point. And let's check to see if anybody... Cool. I think that I'm checking. Let me double check to see that I have all the...
Promoting themselves. However...
Oh, there's some comment. You want more drama? The if is. I give my drama for CNN. Fox is one coach will play football. We're agreed on that. Yeah, I feel the same. Beautiful. So, NEFL action is what we're in. The scores from yesterday, which were posted, awesome job by NEFL updating their scoreboard. In fact, let me give it to you. Pause. So that was the scores from yesterday. Mass Warriors win 13-0. We actually got real scores here. Green Jackets took the game against the Destroyers. That was a pretty evenly matched game. Bombers took care of the Mill City Eagles 41-6. So Mill City looks like they're a pretender, not really a contender. Bandits beat the Cobras. That was the game of the week, 34-15. So the Bandits kind of separate themselves as that number 2 team. Windsor Flyers destroyed the Longhorns 56-0. Hitmen beat the Raptors 28-0. And looks like the Riptide, Silverbacks probably forfeited that one 6-0. But again, we'll confirm that later on. ECFL action yesterday. Schedule from the 20. There it is. Northeast Bulls beat the Valley Generals 26-9. That was the game that I was at. Give you a quick review of that. Troy City bounced back with a win over the Bruins 34-12. That drops the Bruins to the number 4 spot and pretty much has them facing the number 1 seed between the Bulls and the Generals, who have split their season series 1-1. But either way, that first round is going to be a tough one for the Bruins. The Rhody Ravens and the Randolph Oilers, 2 evenly matched teams that are further from it to win, now both 2-win teams. Oilers beat the Ravens 22-12, and that is all from there. The schedule, I believe they're off for the holiday as well, and the NEFL has concluded its regular season. They'll get into playoffs after the Labor Day weekend, and that's pretty much it for that. So, Coming up, we do have fall leagues down in PA. We'll check in with those guys, including the Jersey Eagles, or South Jersey Eagles. I know I will be corrected on that. Jersey Eagles getting into action. I believe that's the NEAFL's version of the fall, or whatever it is that Saplinski supports. He doesn't really do it himself. I could be wrong on that, but I'll get more information on that and definitely get back to you. On top of that, we have the MLF Elite, because the Jersey Sharks left the LAL for the MLF Elite, so we definitely will track what they're doing. On their record, technically right now they are 0-4, which is a tough hole to get out of. So if they end up running the table and winning the MLF Elite, again, without seeing all the teams in there, it's kind of far-fetched, but whatever. Let's just go down this speculation road for a second. A 4-loss champion, at least, would be an interesting conversation to have with Nationals and such, especially since that is Crow's League, and Crow is the guy that runs Nationals. You know that the MLF Elite champion will absolutely have a road into the Nationals picture. So that should be relatively interesting. We shall see. So moving on. So let's talk about these rankings real quick, and then that's pretty much it. All that I got. So loading up the rankings now. Here's the thing. The only one that I have not seen, which I'm still trying to get to, but I have to get there for the playoffs, is the New England Bombers. So this is what I have so far. I have the Seminoles still at the 1, although the Bombers, especially looking at the competition in the EFL, they are a close second, but this is like really 1 and 1A right here. 10-0 really speaks volumes, especially when you're playing all AAA competition. Now, I say AAA competition, not in the same way that you all say AAA competition. I say AAA competition because the NEFL has classifications called Single A, Double A, and AAA, and they ran the table on the hardest, most difficult teams in the region. Period. They didn't have cupcakes on the schedule. Even the last place team in AAA pretty much would dispatch of a single A team relatively easily. The number 3 spot goes to the Bears, who are adjusted 4-0. That has to have a little asterisk next to it, because we know on the field they definitely lost to the Sharks, but that's where they stand at 4-0. I give them the nod, obviously, over the Pharaohs because of what we saw on the field. Sorry for the shakiness of it. What we saw on the field with the Pharaohs, they made short work of them, so there's no way that I was going to put the Pharaohs over the Bears. And by the way, you know, the LAL having 3 of the top 4 teams, I get it. That's less about the LAL, and that's more about those particular teams and what they've done in terms of their body of work outside of the league. All 3 of them have a body of work that's outside of the league. 2 of the 3 played teams this year, and especially the top 2 teams in the EFA. So it's only right that they would get so most of the top spots, I should say. Now, being that I saw these teams on the field, now this is the one that goes to what we saw yesterday, and make sure you check out the HSG network so you can see the film on it. But I saw the Northeast Bulls live and in color. So out of the top 5 teams, the only team that I did not see this year on the field is the number 2 team. But again, 10-0 in the NEFL, kind of like you can't really deny that. That's pretty much where it's at. So let me just stabilize this. I'm sorry. My apologies, folks. There you go. So the Northeast Bulls, I saw live and in color yesterday. They're a good team. I think that if we were to have a Bulls Pharaohs game, I would have the Pharaohs as maybe like a 1.5 favorite. It wouldn't be by much. The Northeast Bulls do have a good offensive line. They have a solid defense. Their defense is a little predictable, though, and I didn't like their ability. I think, let me say it this way. I think they'd have a very tough time covering a legit receiving core. And that's where I give the Pharaohs, the Noles, the Bears, a nod over them in terms of being able to compete. Now, here's the thing, and I see the Gravediggers in the conversation. Let's talk about it when we get there. Give me a second, though. But when it comes down to it, Northeast Bulls, again, full roster, full accompaniment of players on the sideline. These guys are traveling with 40, 50 guys. Same thing with the Pharaohs and Bears and the Knolls. They're going to have a full sideline. They're not a 25-man team, a 30-man team. And number 6, I have the Boston Bandits. They have been on a tear lately. They have been absolutely on fire, and they're playing the top competition in the area. So I have them at number 6. Number 7, I have the Valley Generals. They got stuck with their first loss of the year, so they dropped down a little bit. But again, solid team. If I had them against the Bandits, I would have them as, again, about 1.5, maybe 2-point favorites over the Bandits. Both one-loss teams at this particular point. Middleborough Cobras I have next. The Cobras I have not seen, but they are championship caliber team, have championship experience, so you can't really drop them too far in the standings just yet, and they play a very, very tough schedule. So let's talk about the Gravediggers now. Who would you rank the Gravediggers ahead of? There is nobody above them. Like right now, gotta love the Gravediggers, and I love that y'all fight, but right now, going into the game with the Bandits, since they have never beaten the Bandits, they are an underdog, period. They can't say that they're higher than the Knolls because face-to-face, we saw what happened there. They're not better than the Bombers. That's not happening. The Bears, the Pharaohs, are all giving the Knolls a run for their money. If you had a rematch between the Gravediggers and the Knolls, the spread would be much more significant than a game against the Bears, Pharaohs, period. Even the Bandits. So I get it that you want to be ranked higher, but when it comes down to it, in order for you to be ranked higher, then somebody has to be ranked lower. And the teams that are higher than the Gravediggers at this particular point are teams that have a resume that is better than the Gravediggers' resume, point blank, period. Now, at this particular point, you can make the claim that the Demon Knights, because we haven't seen a Demon Knights Gravediggers game. If they're playing right now, based on the way that the Gravediggers have been playing, winning more decisively than the Demon Knights, it's more of a pick'em type of game, but I might give the nod based on where it is. At Granny Road, the Gravediggers will probably be an underdog by a point or two. At home, the Gravediggers will probably be a favorite by a point or two. But that's why the 10 and 11 spots, the 2 spots there, go to the Demon Knights and the Gravediggers. But you cannot make the claim that the Gravediggers are better than anybody in the top, the 9 teams that are above them. You're not going to make the claim that you're better than the Bandits because you've never beaten the Bandits. You had a chance to beat the Bandits. So, but again, if you disagree, please let me know. I definitely do respect it, 100%. But it's got to make sense. It's got to make sense. But at this point, I do have them higher than the Windsor Flyers, who are an undefeated team, but they choose to play lesser competition that's in their league. So they're an 8-0 team that's ranked lower than teams that have a loss or even 3 losses and 4 losses. We're going to beat the Bandits does not give you a resume. What you're going to do is not what you have done. So right now you've lined up against the Bandits twice, and both times you have failed to beat them. That's what I'm going by. That's what rankings go by. There are very few rankings, if not, let me say this, because they say never say never. I'm saying never. There has never been a ranking that has gone in season with resumes based on speculation. The Gravediggers beat the Bandits before. Oh, did they split last year? Yeah, the Bandits were not undefeated. Ah, gotcha. So you are down. I stand corrected. My apologies. 2-1. You beat them in New Jersey. Got it. So you've never beaten the Bandits in the Bronx. Gotcha. So, or in Westchester, which is where they play now. Got it. So you are correct. You are 2-1 against. You are 1-2 against the Bandits. You've lost to them twice, and that still does not. Let's go back to the original question. Got it. So you have beaten the Bandits before. Should you be ranked higher than the Bandits right now? No, because you lost to them in the championship game and you lost to them twice last year out of the 3 times that you played them. There's no way that. Hey, I mean, I get it. It's your team, but there's no way you can be ranked higher than that. And then from there, it's true. We are 1-0 against the Gravediggers this season. Yeah, so it's linked. I mean, it's close between 11 and 12. I mean, sorry, between 10 and 11, and that's why, by the way, Spence absolutely kind of led us to this part of the discussion, which is that's why the EFA is doing so well and why football is good. Going back to Sean Kelman's live about teams that are having fun. I mean, that's an evenly matched game. Not me, I'm a bear. Oh, sorry, gotcha. When it comes down to it, the EFA has teams that are evenly matched that are playing good football. That's it. You're beating teams by more points. Gotcha. But who are you beating by more points? That's the key. But again, there's no recipe that would put you guys above the Bandits. Middleborough, you can make the debate that you guys are. No, I don't think you can make the debate that you're better than Middleborough. I think it's more of a debate. Yeah, it's a debate, but again, Middleborough has a resume behind them, and they've put more on the table. When you look at the teams that Middleborough has lost to, let's go to it. New England Football League, Middleborough Cobras, boom, right? The Boston Bandits are a very good team. Scores. Here we go. All locations, Middleborough. So, Middleborough Cobras, who they lose to? The Bombers. So, 10-0 team. They beat Mill City. They lost to the Bombers twice. And they lost to the number 1 team by 2 points in one of those matchups. So, that's a tough one to sell, yeah. And they've made short work out of everybody else. So, yeah, saying that you guys are better than Middleborough, probably not going to happen. The rankings was the national rankings. Oh, I appreciate that. So, yeah. So, after that, it's Troy City. And again, I've seen Troy City. So, I could say that Troy City, from a skill position perspective, would have a very hard time with the Gravediggers. They'd have a very hard time with the Demon Knights. Very, very tough time. So at this point, if Troy City was playing like the Bandits, I'd have the Bandits as like a touchdown favorite. So again, when you talk about the top 15 from Maine all the way down to Pennsylvania, I would say New Jersey, but New Jersey's kind of vacated. Well, besides the Gravediggers, have vacated their teams for the most part, have condensed so much that they're barely recognizable. That's where you go from there. And then from there, you got East Penn. Hey. East Penn stands at 1-3. They're kind of like on the outside looking in. We'll see more about what they have against the Seminoles today. But again, when you're a 1-3 team, even a 1-4 team, 2 of those losses come to the number 1 team in the country by many standards. That'll get you in the top 15. I'll give you that. And then the Rhode Island Riptide in NEFL Single A, they're a 6-0 team. But again, they're playing Double A and Single A teams by choice. So that's their choice, and that's why they're so low in the rankings. So, and that is my rankings. So, what are we doing from here? That is pretty much it. Anybody wants to come on the live and add their points and such? Let's see. Your standing on this thing and what your argument is to respectfully, of course. I welcome the debate. Tell you another minute or so. And again, you'll see PDF Network has all of because I know Facebook deletes the lives after a certain amount of time. So, hey, what's up, my guy?
You tell me what's up.
So, What do you think about what do you think about the rankings?
I think this rankings is more legit than any ranking has ever been, ever.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And listen, it's because you're actually viewing the games. Like you're viewing the talent on the field, the competition that we're playing. That none of the other rankings have like, they don't have people watching the games or even seeing, like seeing clips or anything like that. They're not looking at the competition. If you have two teams that play each other and they have 11 guys and they're both playing both ways and no lineman is over 220 pounds, but the score is like 64-12, you know what I mean? Like, what does that look like on paper? It looks, looks like one team dominating the other. Meanwhile, both teams wouldn't be able to compete with anybody.
That much is true. That much is true. And I will say this, that seeing the ECFL teams, the Generals and the well, at this point I've seen the Generals, I've seen the Northeast Bulls, and I've seen the Troy City Titans out of the top teams in the ECFL. And there's not, and I'll stand by this, and that's unless I go up to see the Bombers and all of a sudden they break out like NFL talent, it's not that big of a gap. Again, we're talking about a sport that used to routinely have 50 and 60-point blowouts. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right. No, 100%.
So,
And listen, and that honestly, that's something that we really. I mean, there's only like 7 guys on the live, so I feeling a little free with the mouth, but that's something we have to really like look at. I'm being honest. We have to look at like that's what's wrong with semi-pro. Like those are the things that are what's wrong with semi-pro, and it's not okay. College football, you join a college team, you can't just play like a couple weeks with the college team and then quit. Like there's scholarships involved, and it looks really bad if you quit a team. Like nobody quits in the middle of a season. I mean, bro, your team loses by 70 points. Like, yeah, next week maybe you don't show up. You don't show up anymore. Maybe you don't go anymore. Maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you tabletop tennis or something. You know what I mean? Like you decide to do something different. So when you have teams that are lopsided and when you have games that are lopsided, um, it's it's bad for it's bad for the sport. It makes teams unstable. It makes them unsolid.
right, indeed. It's like video games. You can hit, apparently you can hit the reset button in semi-pro football.
Yeah,
So,
and like it doesn't happen in high school, right? That like kids play in high school and then like you're on the team. Like you don't just quit in the middle of the season if your team's doing bad. Like semi-pro, it's recreational football. Dudes that the team's not doing great. All right, well fuck it. We'll go play somewhere else or we won't play at all. And you know what? That has the same flavor as flag football, where guys will just hang out at a field and just fucking jump on another team like and play 2-3 games in a day. So this
right.
guy, okay, so Chris Kelly Davis just said, "Nah, I disagree. Not many teams in the EFA can handle teams in the ECFL." Well, you're gonna get a chance to, you guys are gonna get a chance to prove that because we already set something up with the ECFL. So I'm not, I don't really want to be that free with the mouth, but we are gonna do some stuff with the
Well,
ECFL
it's funny,
this
and
year.
I like to get away from feelings and go more based on fact. So, hey, there's Chris Kelly Davis. How you doing this morning, sir?
What's up? What's up, Pat? How you doing? What's up, Spence? How you doing?
What's good?
We are good. So you made the claim that not many teams in the EFA could hang with the ECFL. Now, at this particular point, let me bring up those two
The
rosters of
reason
teams.
reason why I say that is because if you look at the East the top duels in ECFL, right? We're gonna say not any order. We're gonna say the Bulls, the Generals, and the Troy City Titans, right? We say top 3 teams in ECFL.
Yep, I
I don't
have it.
see.
You see it right in front of you right now. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't looking. I'm sorry.
I can't see anything by the way.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, I can't see either.
Gotcha. Go ahead. As you were saying, but yes, you have the top 3 teams correct.
Right, and if you look at the top 3 teams in the EFA, which is the Bandits, Gravediggers, and Demon Knights. Personally, out of that team in the EFA, and not because I'm on the Bandits, I feel like the Bandits is the only team that can put up a fight with the Bulls, Generals, or Tracy City Titans. I don't feel like the EFA can compete with those top teams in the ECFL. Honestly,
Okay,
I was
they
so
play more games.
hold on, go ahead. So how many of those teams have you seen in person?
I've seen the Bulls in person, and that's
Against
probably
who?
beside the both times they played the Generals. I was watching the live streams. I watched both all the
No,
live
no, no.
streams.
That's not what I asked. See, you're saying something I didn't ask. How many of the teams in the ECFL have you seen in person, like live on the field?
Um, Besides the Bruins, not many, not other people, not many other teams.
And who did you see the Bruins play?
Who did they play? I think it was the Tar Heels. It was a preseason game though.
It was a preseason game
Yeah,
against non-ECFL competition.
but it was a team from the EFA, and
right, right,
I think
right.
the
So
Tar Heels won that game. If not mistaken, I think the Tar Heels won that
no,
game.
no, the Tar Heels lost that game 26-20, but that was a close game. But
Yeah,
again,
it was a one score game. Now
right.
let's go by your logic right now, right? So the Tar Heels are the number 4 team in the EFA right now. Really number 5 because they're winless. I would say that Kingston playing the Connecticut Tar Heels this week, Kingston will be favored. Do you disagree with that, Spence?
Yes,
You have the Lions
I I
over the Tar Heels.
I play both of them, and I think the Tar Heels are going to win that game.
Gotcha.
Where
Because
is the
it's in,
game though?
the game's in Connecticut. Do you think that if the game was in Kingston, that
Hmm.
Kingston would have a better shot?
Yes.
They're gonna play both of those. They both play each other twice. Like they play each other twice. So we're gonna see that
Okay.
Tar Heels action at Kingston.
Pure speculation? Do you think they're going to split?
No,
Who?
Gotcha. You think that it's going to be a sweep by the Tar Heels?
I think if the Tar Heels quarterback is at both games, the Tar Heels win both those games.
What quarterback?
Gotcha. So
The kid that they had that played against us, I forget
got
his
it.
name.
Say no more on that. No problem. So the Tar Heels are the number 4 team in the EFA. Sounds good. So the number 4 team right now in the ECFL is the Tri-State Bruins, and the Bruins beat them by a score.
Right.
So the 4 playing the 4 was a pretty evenly matched game. Now keep in mind that the Bruins also have wins against the Rhody Ravens, the Randolph Oilers, and the Connecticut Lightning. The Connecticut Lightning, I believe, was forfeiting games, so that's not even a
I
game.
thought they folded, Pat.
Well, again, let's talk about how the Bruins got their wins. The Bruins got their wins by not beating the Titans, the Generals, of the Bulls. They got their wins by beating the Rhody Ravens, the Randolph Oilers, and the Connecticut Lightning. In fact, let me double check that to make sure I'm not
No,
talking
that's
out my
right.
right. So
That's
when you
right.
look at their scores, who did they beat? The Valley Generals beat them. They beat the Rhody Ravens.
The Bulls beat them.
The Bulls beat them 44-8. The Titans beat them. The Generals beat them again. So they beat Randolph, and the Bulls blanked them, and the Connecticut Lightning. Okay, they beat the Connecticut Lightning. So they have won their 4 games against teams with a combined the three teams have a combined 4 wins.
Right.
Okay, so now the 4 team, and going back to your original comment about very few teams can hang, the 4
Mhm.
in the ECFL is basically the same as the 4 in the EFA. Again, if they play, it was a 1-score game. If they played a bunch of times, they probably split a couple times, right?
Agreed. I agree with
Okay,
that one.
cool. So now let's go up 1. So up 1 is the Grave Diggers at this particular point because Demon Knights beat them head to head. Correct, Spence?
Yeah, week 1.
Beautiful. So since the Gravediggers are 3, Gravediggers versus Troy City. You see Troy City winning that game?
Yeah,
Because I
I
don't.
get.
Because
I agree. It depends where it is. If it's in Jersey, I give it to the Gravediggers because of how they when they're in Jersey, how their team looks compared when they travel. If they have to
gotcha.
travel,
I've seen both teams live. I'll tell you this: Troy City is not winning that game. It's not a big difference, but I say it's a touchdown difference. But I would have my money on that one would be on the Gravediggers to beat the Troy City Titans. Now let's go up: Demon Knights versus the Valley Generals. Ironically, this would be a fantastic matchup because the teams are built similarly. Now Spence is not going to say anything because he's a little biased in this case. But who would you have in right? So who would you have in that case? Demon Knights or Valley Generals?
I'm thinking the Generals.
By how much?
I say a score or two.
Gotcha.
Because
A
I honestly
score.
don't think that the Generals, and from watching them against the Bulls, they can't handle a good defense or like a good blitzing defense. And something I can say about Spence, when he blitzes his linebackers, they generally always get through. So I give that game, like, I say Generals by a score.
Indeed. So the Generals don't have explosive plays on offense, right? Which the Demon Knights would have a challenge with, right? So the
Yes.
Demon Knights love the ground and pound. They love the ugly 3 yards in a cloud of dust type game, right?
I don't
Yes.
love it. It just wins.
It wins, and we love
It's your
winning.
bread
So
and butter.
yeah, see how
At
you
this point, you
corrected
love
me, and you see how you corrected me, and then you said the same thing. I don't love it; it just wins, and we love winning, and that's what it is,
Like, you
right?
feel me? Like, that's your bread and butter. You love that shit. Stop
There you go. And the bread and butter
it.
and the bread and butter for the Generals is the same exact thing. They don't have a quarterback that throws vertical. They don't have receivers that are streaking down the field. They're basically like a spread version of wing T.
So I want to interject something that has really nothing to do about the Demon Knights,
Oh,
but
then
it doesn't.
then absolutely not. We're
No. But
finishing.
I'm saying,
No,
We're having
I
a
no,
wish
good
I had a.
no.
conversation right now.
We
Damn,
are
I'm
we are
not. I'm
fo-
listen. I'm not derailing the
we
conversation.
are
I
we
wish
are
I
fo-
had a
we are fo-
dollar.
no. We're following up on this young man's comment, and then we're gonna get him
Yeah,
off the
no,
line.
and I'm
So
keep going. I'm just
so
saying,
the
I wish I had
two.
a dollar for every time somebody said that team would beat that team, and then we watch them play, and it's not remotely close to what
Amen.
everybody expected.
Which is why it's better to see them on the field before making those
honestly, I
Absolutely.
would say with the Demon Knights and Generals game, it also depends on, I want to say, how players play. Because if Malik starts going kind of
Wait,
crazy,
no, whoa, stop. You didn't just say that. You did not just say that.
no.
You did
I
not
was
just say that. I feel as though it's how the players play. When is it ever not about how the players play?
no, because you know how
That's
sometimes,
what you just
like,
said.
sometimes coaches be like, "Oh, it's my fault, it's my fault." But I never blame the coaches. I always say it's always the players.
Chris, you're losing me on this one. So if we're in agreement, right, that the Generals may be a score better than the Demon Knights, or they would probably split a season series. The Demon Knights would probably win on Granny Road because the Generals have never been that far. The Generals would have an
Yeah.
advantage at home. Got it, 100%. The two is equal to the two in both leagues. Now, Bandits and Bulls, I've seen both. Now, would I give the edge to the Bulls over the Bandits? Possibly, because if the Bulls were wearing purple yesterday, I would probably be able to mistake them for the Pharaohs, right?
Defensively wise,
Across the board, they're very
yeah,
similarly built to the
I
Pharaohs.
agree with you that one. I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
so the Bandits competed with the Pharaohs, right?
2-score game.
Two-score game, and at the end, it really should have been a one-score game. But again, it is what it is. But it was a two-score game. Yes.
Yes.
Gotcha. So let me go back to your original comment again. Again, let's original comment.
I
I
said most of the teams
disagree.
wouldn't hang. Most of the teams in
Not
EFA would hang
many
with the teams in
teams.
ESFL.
Yeah, so that's just not true because literally line for line, it's competition between the fours, the threes, the twos, and the ones. Correct?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So your comment was incorrect, correct?
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
So listen,
Have a good
let's
one.
correct.
No, there you go.
Let's
Boom.
correct. Listen, let's correct all of what we're saying because I'm not really trying to make too big of an announcement, but there's only a few people watching, so let's whatever. We already have an agreement in kind with the ECFL to do like a bowl series with them. So there's going to be multiple teams at the end of the season that are going to have an opportunity to play each other. So we will be able to make some of these games happen. And we will be able to see like who really is on what level because the 2A, 3A, 1A conversation it's kind of nonsense. It doesn't really make sense because there is no structure to it. It's just these teams are good. Let's lump them in a group chat.
Except in the NEFL. In the NAFL, it is absolutely legit because they
Right.
classify
Because
themselves.
Right, but it's not based. That's not based solely on opinion on who's good. That's based on it has structure to it, right? Like these teams have this many guys. These teams have this many guys. These teams are new, right? So they have some structure to it. And then like what we have here, what you're doing, that's creating structure to this, right? Like that creates a legitimate like. I'm not insulted that you ranked me below the LAL team, below most of the LAL teams. I'm not insulted. Those three teams that you ranked above us are very good. I don't think that my team is has proven anything that we could be ranked above those guys. For me to be ranked above those guys, I believe I have to play one of them and beat them. Like that's just the bottom line. I don't think I should be ranked above anybody until there's an actual game, right?
Right.
Until or we play a common opponent and we can have some some like legitimacy to it. You know what I'm saying? If we play
And
the com
to the EFA and the LAL's credit, there was enough crossover games to get a little bit a taste of that with the Knowles playing the Gravediggers and the Pharaohs
right.
playing the Bandits, so you could do some of those causation links. 100%.
Right, but that is also why I absolutely fucking hate preseason games because people don't take preseason serious enough, and I love bowl games where they're in like the winter, like when we do winter tournaments and stuff like that, because people do take a bowl game seriously because they think they're gonna win something. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I absolutely despise preseason because in preseason, some people treat it like. Again, not everybody treats it like a scrimmage, but I'm saying some people treat it like a scrimmage, and they'll play whoever or they won't show up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like the Gravediggers only had 14 guys at that game. They didn't show up with 14 guys in Connecticut yesterday. You know
Right.
what I mean? So you know what I mean? Like, some people don't take preseason serious, but if it was a bowl game and there was a trophy on the line and there was a champion, basically a championship on the line, like some kind of bowl championship, then they would have taken it more serious. You know what I mean? So that's why I absolutely abhor preseason games, and I don't participate in preseason games at all anymore. You know what I mean? Partially because I play 2 seasons a year, but I don't participate in preseason games anymore because you can't use it as preseason. You have to be, everybody's worried about their ranking in an opinion poll, which is fucking bananas. When this opinion poll is actually legit, like this is a legitimate ranking. You've seen the teams play and you're comparing common opponents. Like there's nobody can say this is not a more legit ranking than the other rankings. Nobody can say that. It's absurd to even attempt to say it.
And I
Teams that
appreciate that, Spence.
listen, the real is real, right? Right? Truth is truth. The reality is, if teams don't play each other, how can they expect to be above or below? You know what I mean? How can you expect it? You can't expect to be ranked above somebody or wonder why you're ranked so far below somebody if you've never played them, and you don't play anybody on the list to compare how the game went. It's just impossible. And that's why one of the reasons why I'm 100% bringing back the winter tournament. I'm 100%. I personally am sick of watching other people fumble at the 1 yard line. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
for some reason, they just can't get it done. They just can't do. They can't do the simplest things like set up postseason bowl games. Like that shit's crazy. It's just a phone call. Like it really isn't that difficult to set up stuff. Now, if you want to set up an entire ranking system and stuff, that requires a little finesse, but he said the ranking system is confusing in itself. It is, absolutely. But this one, at least Dave comes on and actually explains why this team is what this team beat this team. This team scored I think I scored the most he said, I still don't understand what makes 2A and 3A. There's no such thing. It
There's no
doesn't
such thing.
exist. There is nothing.
Yeah.
There is nothing. Unless the league does it within its own structure, there is nothing. The 2A is just the teams that they decide are 2A. 3A is just the teams that they decide are 3A. It's just last year, the Bandits, on the way to the 2A championship that they played in, they beat a 3A team. Like that, there's no... doesn't make sense. It's like people try to create like it's a JV and varsity situation, but the reality is it's just teams. It's just semi-pro teams. There's the good ones are all listen, the ones that are in the 3A conversation, there's no dispute. Those teams are the better teams in the country, 100%. They play each other. Some of them play each other. Some of them are great. But to actually say this team is number 24 and this team is number 4, that's still nonsense. They don't play each other. You can't. They don't play each other. They don't play common opponents. There's no way to say that which team is which. You should just put with no numbers all the teams in alphabetical order. That's what they should do.
Right. And I was in a Nationals conversation where one of the guys from the Midwest, the Midwest is feeling themselves because they do have they have a couple of great products out there. They definitely do. But dude said comparing you guys to us is like comparing freaking the SEC to Toledo or Akron. He said Akron. Ohio State to Akron, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're out of your mind. You guys always talk that nonsense. And it's not nearly what that you think it is.
I myself have been in the conversation like listen, this is like somewhere between my 50th and 60th season doing semi-pro. Like I played 2 seasons since 2010. I played a lot of football. You know what I mean? I've been involved in a lot of football, and I wish I really did have a dollar for every time some team was like, "Oh, we're better than this team we're gonna beat these guys by 40," and then they're in a deadlock battle, like in the fourth quarter, trying to just score that extra fucking field goal to win the game or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Or they outright lose. You know what I mean? And then you don't know until you play. Like you could say all you want, you could feel yourself all you want, but the reality is, and let's just do the math, there have been more champions from the Northeast region of football in all these national tournaments from our area than all the other areas combined. And I've played all over the country. I played in Florida. I played in Nevada a bunch of times. I played all over I'm telling you, semi-pro in this area is 100% way better, way more competitive, way further along from like New Jersey up to lower Massachusetts, like up to Massachusetts. This is the mecca of semi-pro football. I'm not saying that there's not some good teams in the Midwest. I'm just saying the overall competition here is much, much better. If I transplanted my team to California, I would never lose ever, except to like the top 3 or 4 teams, if that. When I played in Vegas, I played top tier talent, and we destroyed them every time we played, and we had like 20 guys every time.
Indeed. So, and that is it for another week's episode. We got Labor Day weekend coming up. So I notice I didn't say bye week, sir. I did not say bye week. I said
it's not. Yeah. Listen, I don't disagree with you about you guys were fighting about the buys before. I don't disagree that like 4 buys is excessive. I don't disagree with that. But when you have some buys in the schedule, it allows you a little wiggle room, and then you can you can move a game here, you can move a game there, you can make games happen, so you don't have makeup games instead of having forfeits. And I abhor forfeits. You can't let forfeits happen.
Indeed. So, all righty, sir. What's up, Blake? What you got this morning, sir?
What's up, man? I hear you trying to wrap it up. My fault, man.
No worries.
No, bring it back.
But,
are you gonna bring up the? By the way, your partner, Jules, was talking about just mathematics, which was crazy to me. That one person can do 2 jobs better than they could do 1 job. I'm still waiting on the answer on that one, but. Ooh.
I didn't hear that part. I didn't hear that part of the conversation, so I can't comment on that.
That was wild.
Yeah, I just heard about the last 5-6 minutes, right? And I said I'm gonna try to join because these are 2 guys that I've definitely heard over the years, right? Like, I won't say you guys knocked the AAA, AA thing, but you're not. You guys are definitely not afraid to make it clear that you don't agree with the system 100%, how it's come up, you understand? Which is valid.
But you do?
To some degree.
What system are you? What system are you talking about?
Like the 2A, 3A thing.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
Can you explain what the system is?
Come on, don't do that, Pat. I don't. He's about to trip me up from earlier.
No, I'm just saying. You just said
I think
you believe in a system that you cannot explain what it is. Can you show me?
I think it's an attempt. By, I want to say, an accepted committee for the most part.
Who's on the committee? Who's on the committee?
I just never put too much time into researching who's on the committee.
Is it? So how do you know this? How do you know
there's
a committee? How do you know there's a committee?
No, it has to be somebody. These national rankings come from somewhere.
You said committee. You didn't say person. You said committee.
I don't know how they do it, Pat. I don't know if it's 1 guy, 4 guys,
exactly.
20 guys.
Exactly.
Okay, then I have a bridge. Then I have a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn, because if you just say I believe in the system, I don't know where the system comes from. I don't know who's doing the system, but I believe in it. That's a lot of faith, my brother. But go ahead.
No, that's true. That's a fact. And I'm not saying it doesn't need work. I'm not saying it doesn't. But at some point, because this is a nationwide thing, right? Because it's nationwide.
Is it nationwide?
Various polls. It is, right?
But it's not nationwide.
It's not nationwide.
It's not? They don't
No.
rank
No,
teams
it's
from California to
No.
the East
right,
Coast.
but they rank them regionally. Have you ever played a team from California?
Negative.
Have you ever
No, I
played a
haven't.
team from? Have you ever played a team from west of Illinois?
No, but what I'm but listen,
How is
this
it national then?
no. But no.
Have
I'm
you ever
saying
seen?
it's someone's opinion, and they base their opinion nationally to the best of their own knowledge. However, they get that
Beautiful.
Which
knowledge.
we're
To the
saying
best.
is
That's
Oh,
true.
both.
no. Oh, no, Sean, don't. You're ruining it for me.
But look,
So,
but
how
look,
many
hold
games
on.
have they seen?
I have no idea. But this is what
So
I'm
how do you have
saying.
faith
Listen,
in this?
the same way one of Sean's last comments before I joined was, I put a team together I'll paraphrase what I heard. I'll put a team together. We'll beat most of those guys in those other leagues. That's a hypothetical, unless you actually lined
But
up and played
but
them.
I
No, no,
but
stop,
Wrong?
Sean,
right.
stop, Sean,
But light.
Sean, stop,
But I
Sean. No,
Yeah,
no,
have.
no, no,
wrong.
no. I'm gonna remove you in a second.
Go ahead.
Like you said, it's a hypothetical. I
Right.
tried to join you, but in the system that you're talking about is purely hypothetical.
Right. So how does
No,
it
So
work
how
in
do you
your
point? No, no, no.
hypothetical,
How do you
but not
point out
theirs?
something is a
That's what I'm
hypothetical when
saying.
you believe in a system that is pure
I do.
hypothetical?
That's a fact. But that's why I'm
right. But
asking you
light.
guys,
But
how
I
can you
have.
knock it so far, but you'll
Right.
believe
But
in your
I
own
will.
hypotheticals?
I'll answer that
Which
because
one
I
should
have.
we go with? Go ahead,
Because
Sean.
I'll answer that because I personally have wins in like 10 states. Like I
Right,
personally have played on the West Coast 10 times and I'm 10-0 there. Right? I
right,
personally played in Florida and we lost that game. I personally played overseas in Iceland. I
right,
personally have played like so I can say I played against the New England Bearcats. I played in Maine. I played in Massachusetts. I played in New Jersey. I played in Pennsylvania. I played in all these places. I
uh-huh.
have played
Come
and
on,
I've won.
Jules, I'm trying, bro. Try
So
it
this is what
again.
I'm saying.
But what are you saying by that? By saying that, what are you saying?
You're saying that you're saying that I said hypothetically. I'm not talking hypothetically. I'm talking empirically with actual
You're
data.
talking
I
hypothetical.
actually
Like
played.
the system that you believe in is purely hypothetical because they watch less games than even Sean Spencer does. The
Right,
reason why I don't rank the upstate teams is that I don't see their games. I don't see
right,
their games live. I won't even feel comfortable seeing their games purely like we saw with Chris Kelly Davis and how his argument just went crash landed because he never saw any of the teams live. These guys aren't even watching film. I don't even feel comfortable ranking people that I'm going strictly off film on. I don't feel like really that comfortable doing it. And even when
right.
I okay,
Good.
but you believe
This where let me
but
say
you
why
have belief in a system, and
yeah,
you're
you
talking
know,
about a system that it's not even an actual system because nobody even knows how it actually comes to fruition. It is purely
uh,
hypothetical by people that you don't know, based on them looking at things that you don't know what they're looking at, and they're
right,
affiliated with teams. So, like the
right.
biggest issue that people, the biggest issue that people had with JP this week or the other week was his affiliation with the Bears. But meanwhile, the dude that ranks the teams owns a team in the rankings.
Right.
But that's
No,
legitimate.
I'm not saying there's not flaws in their system. I'm not
No,
saying
no, no.
there's not
But
You,
that's
you
not
said you
a
believed
good
in
flawed.
their
flawed
That's
system.
not
system.
flawed.
But
That's not
this is what
flawed.
I'm
That
saying.
means the
But this
system
is
is not a system.
That's
no
not a
problem.
system.
But what
Good.
but listen to me. I started with the Pharaohs 10, 11 years ago, right? When in my opinion, we were a young team. We were at single A level football. Single A level. If there is a such thing, let's say there's a such
What
thing
league?
as
What league were
single,
you in?
double, triple, right? We
What
started
league? Hold
CFL.
on,
I
hold
mean
on, hold on.
Pioneer,
Pioneer is not
Pioneer.
single A. Pioneer was junior pro at an age cap on it. That's different. It's junior
No,
pro.
but my first season, I wasn't there the season that they lost to the Colts in the championship. That first loss, I wasn't there yet. So
Okay.
when I came, we played 18U, like you said, junior pro
Mhm.
and Pioneer League, and
Okay.
then the next season, not the next year, but the next season, I'm not sure if that was the first TFL season that we lost to the Colts again for the second
2014 was
time.
the first TFL season, and I will tell you from experience, both the Pharaohs and the Colts. The Colts, especially because we took them on the road and we beat semi-pro teams with the Colts.
And we didn't beat single A teams, we beat double A teams. Like
Okay,
registered NEFL double A teams with the Colts.
right. Okay, but now this is
So it's
this
not
is what
single A
my point
football.
is. I've watched us graduate talent wise, and I've watched the competition we've played graduate, in my opinion, from coaching these games and watching these games and getting to know who some of these players are and their football history. As far as you actually made it past playing high school ball. When we
Okay.
first started, I would have thought the majority of that league didn't make it past high school football, right? Then we moved on. TFL, they started like we beat the Ravens, a team that, a lot of talent put together on one team. And if you went through their football history, I would think they had even more guys than we've ever played against that played on a D1, D2, D3 level college. You
Okay.
understand? Then we moved on a little more. We got to LAL. I think that pool got even bigger. I think the coaches now that we're coaching against have more than 5 years experience of coaching semi-pro football. They have
Okay.
10, 15, 20, 30 years of coaching. This is
Okay.
why I say there's a separation, or there should be a separation in leagues
Okay,
or
should be
teams,
is
right?
a different
Or
statement.
teams.
Now there is just not factual because two of the hardest teams that the Colts or the Patriots have ever faced, Jersey Coast Academy and Williamson Trade School, beat the dog shit out of us. And those were
Right.
younger teams, the college affiliated teams that were better than most semi-pro teams. So there is no designation or classification that exists outside of people's opinions. It's not a system. A system is a proven method. A system you could look up. A system you could actually see on pen and paper or on a computer screen for Ron in the comments. When you say you believe in a system, it has to be at least something that you could articulate what you actually believe in. You just, at this particular point, believe in a graphic that has your name at a certain level, and either you agree with it or you like what you see, or you don't like what you see. That's not a
But
system.
but you know why though? It's not as hard for me to disagree,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not as easy for me to disagree, because when I've seen rankings over the years of the teams that I know of, or I see highlights of in other groups or whatever the case is, I try to make a reasonable comparison to what I'm used to seeing on a Saturday afternoon. You
Okay.
get what I'm saying? So yes, I might not know the Albany whoever's, but if I watch highlights of them and I see their game scores and stuff, and I'm like, I could look at their quarterback. They got a mobile quarterback that can actually hit an open receiver. They tackle pretty well. I'm not seeing the other team miss or break 3, 4 tackles on the way to the end zone. Like, they kind of remind me of the Demon Knights, for argument's sake. Oh, they kind of remind me of the Demon Knights. Now I can stack how we would fare versus Demon Knights, and I
But
can
you
kind of,
right,
without being exact, I can
you
give a
already hold on. You already said you get that from watching film. What I'm telling you is that the person that does this does not watch film. I'm telling you this. And by the way, I have a hard time finding film of teams in our area. How the hell is somebody that's 2, 3, 400 miles away finding film? Are you sending them film? Are other semi-pro owners sending them film?
But
You
let
know
me
the
ask you
answer to
this.
that. Hold on. The answer to that is no. So they're not watching film. So their system, quote unquote system, is not even what you would do if you were running the system. So again, to answer Ron, no, you're also incorrect because the two times in which I investigated this, the first time I was told that they had people that watched games, and those people went out to games like in Inspector Gadget outfits and were watching the games and evaluating the talent, and they did not want to tell people who they were because they didn't want to get harassed like celebrities. That was the first time I asked what the system is. The second time I asked, the answer was league owners decide if they're single A, double A, or triple A. That's what
which
I
is
was
cool.
told recently, which is just factually incorrect because I know nearly all of the league owners, and that's just not true. So when I say there is not a system, no, there is not a system because they're just lying. My apologies.
But how many times?
Is that
How many
is Ju-
times?
oh,
Hold on. How many times?
Whoa,
One
wait, hold on.
question,
Is that
Mally.
Molly?
One question,
Hold,
Mally,
I'm
before
sorry.
you go crazy.
Hold on.
Hold
I
on. One
got,
question before
I
you
got
go
you. Is that
crazy.
Molly? In order for Molly to make it on my live, he has to answer 3 Black History questions.
He got you.
Okay.
He got you.
First question is, who is John Brown?
A nigga that's not here no more.
He's not even a nigga. He was a white guy. Come on. Question number 2. What was the Dred Scott decision?
Something about shit
Jesus
that changed
Christ.
today, you heard?
Your black card is immediately revoked. Third question. Brown v. Board of Education. Explain the doll test.
Something about Ruby Tuesday.
Ruby Tuesday!
At least he said Ruby.
Ruby Tuesday!
Ruby something, yeah. Ruby Tuesday.
Anybody in that
Tuesday's
car
a
can
burger
speak
place.
except for Molly. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, like you were saying, sir.
I just got a question though, right? Like everything you said about the rankings and dude not watching film and how does he come up with this? It could be facts, but do
It's
you
not
ever look
could
at
be.
the
It is
rankings?
facts.
All right, that's a fact. But do you look at the rankings and say the list is totally out of order?
For
Do you look at that and say that?
for a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Just because you agree. By the way,
No.
even
But
if
I'm
you
asking
agree
you
with
though,
it,
if you can look at that list and say it's totally out of order, how do you say that without seeing those teams?
You never see it?
He does see the teams though.
I do see the teams.
Yo, I went right there. Hope so. That's why I'm like, yo, Maddie's right there. I'm like, come on.
So you feel like if you was on the committee
I'm alumni, bro.
or you was doing the rankings, it would be a more viable system.
I'm on a committee that does national rankings. Let me tell you what happened the other day. I'm in the East region. I only evaluate teams that I have seen film on or I have seen live. I handle the Eastern region, right? So the Midwest guys were all pissed off because of the national rankings and what came out. Here was the issue. They love Racine. We all heard about Racine, the Racine Raiders, right? The Racine Raiders were a 10-4 team. The Racine Raiders were ranked number 4 in the Midwest. But now there are 5 regions. So if they're ranked 4 in the Midwest, what do they have to be ranked nationally?
Somewhere in the 20s. Got it.
You would think, right? Because everybody 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. You can't have the, even if they're the highest 4, the highest they could be is 16. That's how the math works, right?
Yeah.
Now, they were like, oh my God, why are they ranked so low? Well, you want your 4 ranked higher than my 1 because you love Racine so much.
Like,
But
how many
Racine-
times? Yo,
Right,
how many
right.
times has a team from Texas or from Florida or from anywhere really come to the Northeast region, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, and
Never.
played to prove that they were better than one? How many times?
They don't do it. To my
Never.
knowledge,
Right.
I've never heard
And,
that.
and by the way, you never notice that the teams that are playing in these nationals tournaments, many of them are from that area because they can afford to drive there and they can afford the fee, right? Because they're not staying in hotels or anything like that. That's the reason why. It's not that they're better than everybody else. They accept the invitation because they're right there. If we had a nationals game in New York, we would throw New York teams in if there was a gap. We would throw the next best New York team in. That doesn't mean that they're better than teams from California or the Midwest or Florida. It just means that they could drive there and they could pay the money, no problem, right? But again, the number 4 team in the Midwest, they want to be the number 7 team in the nation.
Math not mathing, man.
And by the way, if you look at Racine as a 4 in the Midwest might be better than the West's number 2 or number 1.
How? Listen,
They could be
let's
up,
be.
they could be number 4 nationally though. If you say the Midwest region is just that much better than everybody.
Right. If the Midwest has the top 4
what's the only way to
teams,
prove that?
hold on. If the Midwest has the top 4 teams in the nation, Racine's number 4. If the Midwest doesn't, and you do it, but again, you have a bunch of people advocating for their region, and I'm advocating for the East, and I'm like, no, your number 4 team is not better than our number 2 team. Definitely not. And I've seen the Midwest play football. That's how I knew Racine was a fraud, and I know I'm going to catch hell for saying that. Racine was a fraud in the GDFL as national champs because they played in a 12-team league, and they played the same team 3 and 4 times.
Like, how
Not a
could
12
Racine?
team league.
How
That's
could
how they ended up
Racing
as a
prove that they're
4-loss team
four?
this year.
Like, how could how could they prove that they're four in the nation?
At
it's
10-4.
It's not for them to prove, though. It's not for them to prove.
It is. They want to be ranked number 4 in the nation. How could they prove that?
As a 4-loss team,
Oh, they gotta
They're a
get higher than
4-loss
4 probably
team.
in their own.
They're claiming.
Did they play the top 3 in the Midwest? Did they beat the top 3 in their own region?
They split against one and they lost against the other 2.
I don't know. Yeah.
But they're a 4-loss team. So if you're on the West Coast, and by the way, here's the other funny thing, right? In the East, which is why I said the East is so powerful, the East in the spring had 3 champions. From Maine all the way to Delaware, there were 3 champions. Well, guess what? In Texas, there's like 10 champions. So of course they're going to sit there and go, well, our number 9 champion and our number 10 champion was undefeated. But who are they playing if there are 10 champions in the state of Texas? The state of Texas is not larger. I don't know this, but from Maine all the way down to Delaware, it's certainly not the same amount of people. You got Philadelphia, you got Providence, you got New York City, you got Boston, you got all those major cities, all those people, and you're telling me Texas has 10 champions, all undefeated, that don't play each other, but you want them ranked higher.
I can't argue with y'all how they come up with it.
Nigga live on like the 50th
I'm just saying.
But you said you believe in it.
Yeah, I feel like it's necessary to have.
No, it's not. No, but it's not though. Listen, it's not though. That's the point. The point is it's not necessary and it's flawed. And here's the answer is, listen, if Racing
unicycle with the shiesty on.
If Racing came here, if Racing came here and played against the Pharaohs, I think the Pharaohs would dismantle them, right? That's my opinion. I think the Pharaohs would dismantle. I watched one Racing game probably in my whole life, but I think you guys would dismantle them. The only way for them to be ranked above the Pharaohs should be they have to come play the Pharaohs. I don't care if it's in a neutral site or if it's in Brooklyn or whatever. The bottom line is they should never be able to be above the Pharaohs unless they beat the Pharaohs, or you both play the same team. You have a common opponent. Right? You both play the same team. Whatever team we choose, it doesn't make a difference. They don't have to be nationally ranked or not. Right? If you both play the same team and you beat them by 60 and they beat them by 4, then you could say, okay, here's a way to figure it out.
Yeah, so hold on for a second. If the Seminoles go down to Florida and beat a team by 30, right? Is it pretty safe to say that the Pharaohs would beat them? Probably. Is it fairly safe to say that the Sharks would beat them? Probably, right? But because we know how even those 3 teams are, I'm sorry, let me not leave out. Is it pretty safe to say the Bears would beat them? Probably. So that's 4 teams that would probably handle the same business. But that team that the Seminoles are playing are a undefeated champion, a national champion, right? But in that grouping, they're the 5th best team. If they were to come up here, they're the 5th best team in the East.
Is that true or not?
No, man. That's true. I'm just.
That's how math works. I'm not
trying to argue that, bro. I don't.
People are arguing feelings. I'm arguing math.
There's a difference in talent and coaching throughout semi-pro football. And if there was
that has nothing to do with these rankings, though.
No, I'm just saying what I called about. I don't know how to fix the ranking system. I'm saying.
We just told you.
Double A, triple A, even single A, if you want to throw that in there and say semi-pros to semi-pro.
The answer is you can't have a national ranking that's legitimate just for entertainment purposes, and it is entertainment, right? But when it comes down to it, you need a few people who are seeing games live, multiple league games, and evaluating in the region and evaluating the region effectively. That's what you need. Now, if you don't have that, then each region, they got to play it out. I do not want to see 3 teams from Texas being national champs. That's not how national works, right? I didn't like seeing the Connecticut Falcons and the Green Wave separately go down and play a national championship games without playing each other first. That's how regionals always work. In Little League Baseball, there's not 2 teams from New York that play for the World Series.
But that's just because there's not no regional tournaments after everybody's season. And then you
There's the
got
Dirty
seasons
Bowl. There's
starting at
plenty of regional
different
tournaments.
times. Yeah.
But okay, so like that's why I said to you,
Gotta lose
people
that.
like
Wrap up
people
that
like
nigga
me and
song.
Patterson have to. But this is why I said I'm bringing back the winter tournament. This is why other teams are, other people are bringing back some. Like maybe they're bringing the Harvest Bowl back. There's other things that can be brought back. The whole bottom line is that teams got to play each other, and that's how you determine after the season these teams shake out to be AAA, AA. Not somebody's fucking baseless opinion like these are AAA, these are AA because I know they're good. That's
In
not how
order,
you. That,
in my opinion, the only way that you should go to Florida is if you play all of the champions from your region. That's it. If
is
you
that how it is now?
and that's the way it used to be with the Metro Bowl and the Harvest Bowl. That's the way it used to be. You didn't.
Watch. He's gonna get mad. He's gonna get mad when I cut him off. This. What were you gonna say? It's gonna be hard to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it'd be hard to do that only because
Why? You had a week off this week.
Every team.
The last Harvest Bowl, y'all did it.
We definitely did. 2021.
How many games did you play after the league chip before you went to Florida?
Like 3.
There you go.
Two, but I think 3.
There you go.
Okay. So that gives you that gives legitimacy to your claim that
because y'all did it every
better
round.
than the other teams. We beat them.
Every round that y'all played between the championship game for the league and going down to Florida made that made your guys' path more and more legitimate.
100%.
That's a fact. But listen. When you set up something, right? When you set up a system, hey, listen, I'm gonna have this tournament. I'm gonna bring the champions down. At worst, the runner-ups, and boom, boom, boom. Let's get some clarification. You're doing that with the best of intentions. But now it's time for it to happen. And you got 6 teams that want to go, but you need 8 for the numbers to work correctly. And 2 teams say we can't do it.
But that's why you got to split it by region. That's why you got to split it by region. So it doesn't matter if there's 5 regions. If there's 5 regions that cover the whole entire United States, right? And all of them rank their top 10. Well, guess what? You take all regions number 1s because they beat everybody in their region. They go. And then at that point, you take the regions number 2. If one region can't travel, then take the highest number out of the remaining regions. And then you play it out on the field. But there should not be two champions, national champions that are driving distance from one another.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm just saying that.
Good morning, Jules.
There's things that happen along the way, bro, that sometimes blur the lines. That's all I'm saying. Like, you can have it how you want it, and everybody will agree. And then when it's time, these 2 teams, these runner-ups back out, or they can't, it could be legit. But
the Shamrocks playing the Brooklyn Seminoles for a national championship to me was absurd. We could have played it in Connecticut and seen both teams at full strength playing in a hell of a game that would have been packed. There would have been thousands of people. Well, not thousands. There would have been at least 1,000 people at that game. At least 1,000. But they chose a vacation.
Playing in Florida. We didn't want no snow. Maybe they didn't want it to snow.
Okay, but that's
the game.
And that's fine. That's fine. Nobody's saying not to play in Florida. I'm captain fucking going on vacation to play fucking football. Nobody's saying not to play. But the fact that all the national championships are from in one place from people that don't know the games and don't know the teams, it's bunk, bro. It's bunk. The fact that the EFA was labeled as AA is nonsense. We never said we were AA. We never admitted or asked to be AA.
I can show you the message where dude said that owners of leagues decided where they were. And that's the system that you believe in.
Some guy that never seen any of us play just said, "Oh, they're AA." That's retarded. It's moronic.
I'm gonna let Jew go on. Go ahead, Jew, man.
What up, Jew?
What's up, fellas?
See y'all later.
Jew wants a fight.
I'm joining because somebody told me my name was mentioned about conversations that we had.
I don't think anybody mentioned your name.
Oh, no? Oh, okay. I thought guys were talking about the conversations that I had with each one of you.
I mean, we had those conversations. If you'd like to have that conversation now, we can. That's up to you.
No, I'm only calling in because they said that you guys were discussing this on live.
Oh, no.
Nah, we're talking about the rankings, but we're not talking about
the rankings. But if you have something you want to bring up, absolutely, man.
No, I really don't care to. If you guys don't believe in the rankings, you guys don't. That's up to you guys. Like, it's not
It's not about belief
for
in the
everybody.
rankings. It's about how legitimate the rankings are, and they're not.
It's not for you then. I
Okay,
mean,
now,
I'm not.
It's what?
all right,
It's not
go
for
ahead.
you then. You know, like we get to play teams from other parts of the country, whether they're from California or not. But if you don't care to play them, then don't play them.
Right, but nobody's stopping you from doing that now. You had a week off this week. You could have
Exactly.
played
That's what
somebody.
I'm
You
saying.
could have
I
played
don't.
in Racine this week.
That's fine. I mean, we enjoy the same way. I kind
Right,
of understand the
for your
Well,
sport.
hold
benefit.
on,
But you,
let him
Gad,
talk. Let him talk. Good.
It's up to you guys. If you guys don't believe in it, you don't believe in it. If you don't feel that it's worthy and it's for you, then don't do it. It's that
we
Understood.
simple.
don't.
Like,
Now, with that being said, when people,
Mhm.
not you, but when people use that to claim that they're better than other teams, then the conversation is naturally going to go to, well, what you believe in isn't really reality. What you believe in is some random person's opinion who's not really qualified to evaluate football.
well, there's one thing that kind of breaks that up to a degree. It's not as if we're playing the bottom tier teams from another league. We're
It
playing either
doesn't
the
matter.
champ, huh?
It
Oh,
doesn't matter if you're playing the top tier team. If you're playing the number one team in a shitty league, it's still the same thing.
Most of the rankings are based on history. So when the MLF or
No,
when
they're
the
based on
gold,
not. No, they're not based on history.
I, huh?
who has the history on them?
All right. So let me ask you a question. So when we played the Chicago Bird game,
Okay.
where had they not beat the Seminoles in the past? They had beat the Seminoles in the past. And that league, I forget who the league champion was that year, but that league champion had went to nationals before and won. So it's not as if these teams are just coming out of thin air and they're just like, yeah, hey, just a new league and we're just gonna
Hold on, Sean. I don't think that you can say that when it comes to the rankings across the board that they are well informed. Now they do have fragmented information, right? Based on people's performance in nationals. So notice what you said. The teams that played in nationals. Now you've played in nationals before. I've played in nationals before. Sean has played in national games as well. Do teams have their true representation of what their team is during the season at nationals?
Well, the same way when you rank a team, when they rank
Well,
a team.
can I just get an answer to my question first?
Go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead. What was your
So
question? I'm sorry. Say that again.
The Seminoles team that you would play in Florida for nationals, is that the same team that you would play at Kings Bay?
Yes.
Really?
No, it's
So
not. No, it's not.
really, that's just not true because I've seen the Seminoles. Got to ask a Seminole how many guys they've actually traveled with because we've seen even when let's use the Bandits for example. How many guys did you have in your national game last year, Coach Black?
But not like 50, 55, 50.
How many dressed for nationals?
Took about 45.
Gotcha.
Okay.
For
So what's
nationals,
wrong with
yeah,
that?
about
That's a
45.
normal, that's a typical semi-pro day.
Gotcha.
I mean,
So
what else? That's a typical semi-pro
when
day.
the Pharaohs went to so you had 45 with you in Florida.
No, we had the first year I believe we had about 45. The second year we had 38. I think it was 37, 38 guys.
And that's better than what the national average is, I would assume. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you guys are two of the best to do it. The standard. You don't have to say it. I'll say it. Other teams have gone down there with 25 guys and 30 guys. Correct me if I'm wrong, Black.
Yeah, all the time.
Okay. So all I'm saying is that if you can't evaluate teams' names based on what they do in Florida because they're picking up players, they don't have their team. Not a ton of players, but they're picking up players that didn't play with them during the course of the year.
Remember when the Noles played that Houston team? They showed up at like 20. I mean, they was missing a whole lot of people that year.
Right.
Right.
So
Listen,
that was the year they were throwing helmets.
you may not always get the best representation, but I get my point is
Well, what's
what
the
I'm
purpose of the
saying.
ranking? The ranking is to rank the teams, not their ability to travel to Florida. So if you're using the Nationals game as the way to really calibrate your rankings, you are taking an odd situation and ranking a team off of it. Like even college bowl games, we've seen college bowl games where Florida State hasn't been able to like damn near field a team, right?
Hold on one second.
But if you were to rank them accordingly to what they do in bowl games, you'd be like, yeah, no, that's not reality.
Julius, you see, I'm sure you've seen the Spring National. Would the Green Wave have won that game if they had more than 20 guys?
I don't know because I don't know if that other team was in full strength.
Well, the other team was
Okay.
from there.
Right?
Like,
I mean, listen, I don't know how many guys they had. I really don't know.
They
But
had less than
should they
20
have
guys.
won it? I would think so. If they had Juan there as their
Right.
because he was their starting
Okay,
quarterback. But again, they won the championship with Chris. They
but
won
okay,
that
the
proves the
but
championship
but
aren't
with
that
we
Chris.
proves
but aren't we agreeing
but
that
that
you should
proves
be
the point.
ranked based on your football team during an ordinary season as opposed to exemplary conditions like playing in a state that's a couple hundred miles away?
I wouldn't take that opportunity away from them the same way you have opt-outs when you have college bowl games.
Okay, so
Do you take that away from them? You don't do that. You give them
No,
the
right.
opportunity to play that game. Just
yeah,
same
but you
way
don't.
college bowl.
But you're not going to say that Florida State is worse than like Bowling Green because in a bowl game, like the Florida
Oh
State,
no, we wouldn't say
third
that.
the Florida State third string, got beat by Bowling Green's like best team. Like it's just not there. So again, the whole purpose again, opinions always matter, and I'm not devaluing the entertainment value of the rankings. Love it. Entertainment, cool. But when people are like, my team, my league, this league's better than that league, or my team in theory would be better than your team without touching the field, that's when we got to call bullshit. Like, yeah, no, you can't go by the rankings to say theoretically this team would beat that team. And again, I've seen the whole region going back to my rankings. I've seen nearly all of the teams that are in the top 15 rankings, period, on the field in person. And I know that I have a higher standard than the people that you believe can rank nationally because they're not watching film like that. You know that. There's very few
Yeah.
teams that have film, right?
So
Some of the
if
best
you
teams
were
don't got
watching the
film.
Detroit Ravens, let's take the Detroit Ravens, right? They lost this year. They lost to the Motor City Rams. If
Yes.
you take the teams from that league, would you say that that's a high quality brand of football just by watching them and just from the history? If you hadn't watched a single game, but you watched them up until last year and you took them this year, would you still say that's a pretty high quality league or set of teams from that from them?
This year that was a very
Wait. Can I answer that thing honestly?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know none of their quarterbacks' names. I don't know information. So it's just like I could be assuming based on records and then the eye test, but I don't know nobody over there. So everything is just a guess. And
I
then
watched them.
you're gonna have to trust the sources of information. Now, mind you, if you trust the source of information coming from New York, it all depends on who you're talking to. The same way it depends on who you're talking to from over there. So just like you said, there's no real way of doing it because
Julius,
everybody who are fans of the Detroit Ravens
there is. Julius, you're a smart guy. I know you're a smart guy. What's the solution to this though? We're dancing around it, but what would be a way to solve this dilemma?
I got the answer.
I don't know how much of a dilemma it is. I mean, I think you guys, okay, I understand you guys what you're saying. You say that these guys are not watching the games like they claim that they are doing. And I understand that. I get that.
But there's a fix to this.
I
Though.
haven't investigated that. But if we have the opportunity to play other league champions, now again, I do agree that there should be a Harvest Bowl. The Sunshine Bowl has the Dirty Bowl, but that's only if they don't do that for everyone. I believe that's only if you don't have enough games or there's something that you haven't qualified for. Then you're forced to play in that Dirty Bowl. Not everyone has to play in the Dirty Bowl to qualify for the national game for the Sunshine Bowl. Not everybody, from my understanding, not everybody has to do that. Now, when it comes to Jim Nugent and NFE, we were the last ones to play in the Harvest Bowl. 2022. That's winter of 2022 was the last year they had the Harvest Bowl. Why they haven't done it since then, I'm not 100% sure. I do agree with you guys that a Harvest Bowl should be necessary to play your regional section.
It's not necessary. It just makes you more legitimate. It makes your championship that year more legitimate than anybody else's championship now.
all right, hold on. Black, what you got?
I agree with that.
So to me, that's a two-tier question because it's like from the ground level from the teams, and then from the association. So from ground levels from the teams, it should always be a little tournament to see who's the best in your area.
Yeah.
The reason why that doesn't happen, and I'm not trying to knock the administration or the people who run nationals, is because it's a money thing for them too. They have to find the best 2 games that gets them the most streams, the most everything. And the national championship game is also in, it also goes by, can you pay that fee?
Yeah.
Because if you can't pay that fee, guess what? Your team now sucks, and then the next team that can pay that fee is now the best team in the area, which isn't fair. So you have to pay the fee to actually go into either the Dirty Bowl or the national championship game, and then you get to play against somebody. But if you don't have the money, that means your team is not a national champion, and you don't get that. See, so automatically you don't get that number 1 or number 2 or number 3 bid. It all depends. And I'm going to say it all depends on money, but money plays a big role in it. Money plays a huge role in it if they want to call you the number 1 team. Because if you don't have that fee, they'll call somebody else number 1 team.
You might be a AAA team, but AA money.
Yeah.
Get it.
So,
But,
that has a
so
lot
let's
to do
take,
with
for instance, remember when Appalachian State beat Michigan?
Yes.
How would you even know that they even had a shot at beating them until they played, right?
Yes.
That's the point.
But if teams from the Big Ten had played teams, where's Appalachian State from? Whatever conference they're from. If every time they played them, they monkey stomped the shit out of them, then history would tell you that they're not on the same caliber, right? So that's how sometimes I get it that you guys are like, we wouldn't know until they played. But if everybody else has played each other and they've beaten the shit out of them, why would I even give you a chance to play them until you take that chance? Now, how do you fix that? One way potentially would be maybe preseason games or postseason. The
We just
problem
we
now
just
we have?
we
The
just thought
problem
that.
we have now is spring is in the way to playing those. There used to be preseason games all the time. All the time. I still remember when the Knowles played the Wolves team in preseason. It used to be preseason games all the time. Spring came along and took that away. Those opportunities to play some of those preseason games are no longer there.
Absolutely.
Right.
They're
Yeah,
no
you used
longer
to have the
longer
Jamal
there.
Davis Classic. We used to have we used to have a lot of that. But this is this is the point. This is what I'm trying to beat into your head. The system right now, it doesn't behoove you to play preseason games against a top quality team, because if you lose that game, you're losing your chance to play nationals. So the top teams, it behooves them to duck each other and not play
all
each
year.
other. Right?
All year.
So they don't want to play each other, because the system is built right now for you to just beat up your local opponents that you know you're going to beat up and then go to the nationals. Right? There is no incentive to play for a race team to come here and play you.
2-3 years ago, when the Brooklyn Bowl would have been the biggest thing New York has ever seen in their life, and then we had the purple team and that red team duck each other all the way to Florida. That was crazy. That was wild. That was wild. Y'all was both undefeated. Y'all was both from Brooklyn. Y'all would have made a killing. Y'all was so worried about nationals and spending money. You both would have killed at the gate, and y'all both programs would have been.
I would have went to that game.
I absolutely would have paid.
Ignored the needs of your own programs.
I would have paid for a sideline pass.
Wait, what game are y'all talking about? I'm sorry.
You and the Seminoles.
Little brother. You don't remember little brother, big brother, and all that nonsense?
Hey, listen, we had a good game at that 2023 game. I'll tell you that much.
Ignored all of those facts to go play in somebody else's bowl in Florida. That was wild. Like, that's the thinking. That didn't make any sense, but it makes sense.
So basically, what we're saying is the system is rigged for you to want to not play other good teams.
I don't look at. All right, so listen. For instance, the Bears last year, they didn't get a chance to play in the 7 o'clock game at Nationals, right? They played in the 4 o'clock, but they won, right? So it was a way I looked at it as like, all right, the Sharks won their Nationals, the Bears won their Nationals. I look at it as, all right, now that they understand that this league can beat these other teams, then if we win, then we want that 7 o'clock game. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if I want to play if we don't get the 7 o'clock game, if we happen to win. Why? I don't want to go down there and play anybody else.
You keep saying it in a smaller sense. You keep saying, like, yo, why don't we just figure it out on the field? You keep saying it, and we're explaining to you why it keeps not getting figured out on the field.
You have to play. I get you. I understand. You guys have to play the tournaments, but that doesn't mean
listen, if the rankings was based, right? Let's say the rankings was, let's say the Pharaohs are 5, right? Nobody could jump the Pharaohs without either one, beating the Pharaohs outright, right? You can't be ranked above the 5 Pharaohs, right?
Yeah.
In the Nationals without beating them outright, or playing a common opponent and then having it claimed that you played, it was a better game. You guys, the Pharaohs won by 4, and the Admirals won by 60. Right, that's the only way you could jump. If that was how the rankings was based, like the way that Patterson is literally doing right now on his computer, he's basically sitting here saying this. Like, look, I got ranked 11 in Patterson's weekly ranking. I'm not offended that we're ranked whatever 11,
You
12,
rank
whatever the
high.
fuck.
That's why you're not offended.
I'm listen. I'm not offended. I'm not offended for the Bandits that they're ranked below 3 of the LAL teams. We didn't beat any LAL teams to be able to be ranked above them. Right? You understand what I'm saying? If we would have to outright beat the Pharaohs, outright beat the Bears, or outright beat the Seminoles for me to sit here and legitimately say, in honesty, I think I should be ranked higher than the Seminoles.
All right,
That's
so
how
let
it
me
should be.
cut you off for a second, right? Okay.
Or we play
if you
a
beat
common opponent.
by more points. If you beat
Okay,
a common opponent by more points.
or we could hold on for 1 second. Now I want
Right,
you to
which
take
is
a look
what
at this.
Patterson's doing, which is what these
Hold on
other
for a
things
second.
don't do.
Hold on for a
See
second,
the
Sean.
Pharaohs. See, we lost to the Pharaohs, but we beat Demon Knights. So therefore, we should be under the Pharaohs.
If your name is,
I mean, we have a
hold
common
on,
opponent.
hold on. Now let me just add to the conversation. Just give you some information.
Right, we do have a common opponent, but it was preseason.
And let's talk about this. Now here you go. Dallas Prime. Here are their games. Right. This is what the national committee is doing now. Right now with the I-95 series. This is the Dallas Prime. I want you to look at this schedule. Right. These are the wins that they have. Notice how I highlighted in red games that they won against losing teams, right? So if you beat a team with a losing record, to me, right? Now look at the scores, right? A lot of shutouts, beatings that are not too crazy. Got it? So that's the Dallas Prime. Got it? Now I want you to look at the Oklahoma Bears. As I dropped you. Sorry. Dropped you there. Now I want you to look at the Oklahoma Bears.
I'm not gonna lie. I can see comments, but I can't see video, so I don't know what the fuck happened. But go ahead. I'm listening.
Sorry. And now the Oklahoma Bears. Where the hell are they? Oh, boom. Here we go. Oklahoma Bears. Here is theirs.
Yeah.
These are the teams that they beat and how bad they beat them. 1-7 team, 62-0. 3-5, 4-5. Another 1-6 team playing the same team over and over again. Got it. So who is ranked higher, the Dallas Prime or the Oklahoma Bears?
I would imagine the Dallas Prime.
The Dallas Prime are ranked 19th, and the Oklahoma Bears are ranked 13th. So let me just again ask, if I could easily point that out, right? I don't care where you think you're playing, right? If you are beating up on teams, the same 2 teams, 3 teams, 1-7 records, majority of your wins come against teams with losing records. Where's the sense? And that's why that's why I take issue with you guys saying I believe in a system, because there is no system.
People stopped using sense a long time ago, though. That's the problem. People are like, you know what? If the system benefits them at that moment and it's benefited them in the past, it's like, you know what? I like this system because they don't, because they remember my name. But the people who are like, you know what? They don't know our name. Fuck the system. It's like, well, you're just a big baby. I'm gonna be honest with you. I honestly, I don't want to say honestly, but a lot has to do with do you have the team to actually play in nationals? If you don't have the team to actually play in nationals, they're not going to pay you that much attention. If you're not entertaining them, they probably won't entertain you, because again, they want that league fee. They want that fee to actually play. You know what I mean? So when you go to Florida, they want that, and then they also want the streams for people tapping into your team.
Right,
so they
and
will
they
promote
want
the shit out of your team, so people can know your team, so people could tap in, so they can watch the game.
And by the way,
going there too.
Racine has a national following, and if Racine's there, people are going to want to see Racine. But this team, the Sheboygan County Sabercats, they were ranked higher than Racine. Notice how they never played Racine, right? But they're from Sheboygan, which is very close, like driving distance away from Racine. Now, I'm not sure if you're looking at this, but when you look at their wins, you notice something?
I can't see.
Yeah.
They got 1, 2, 3 forfeits, and then they're beating teams 52-6, 59-6, 41-0, winless teams. that team was ranked higher than Racine because they're undefeated champions.
And listen, I want to give one concrete example. I want to give one really concrete example because it screwed my league, right? I'm going to give a concrete example. The Venom, the Philly Venom, were playing when we did the XCFL crossover games with them. The Philly Venom, they refused to play against the Legion. They didn't come up here. They took a forfeit loss. Then they played a different team that same weekend in Maryland. So they ducked coming up here to maybe lose to the Legion of all teams, right? And then they played a team down south. They ended up like 4-1, like on their league record. They still wound up going to a national game. They refused to play. They won the XCFL, so they were a league champion, and then they absolutely refused to play the Bears because they said, "Why the fuck would I play the Bears and jeopardize my national rankings game?" And then they went and played the Nationals, and then they never had like more than 20 guys at any game, and then when they played the Nationals, they had like 50 guys. And then they said they were a national champion. Meanwhile, all they did was duck games against all the crossover games. They refused to play them.
Last year, in order for me to go to Nationals, we tried to not go to the Dirty Bowl because they said the qualifications, we just needed a game. We contacted every local team that was available, all of them. And I tell you, all of them, we contacted all the local teams that was available. It was like, it doesn't make sense for us to play with AAA and your AA, and that'll mess up. If we lose to you, we don't go to Nationals. That was told to me by certain players. I mean, by specific coaches and owners, just like 6 months ago.
I believe that. I definitely believe that.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a game inside of a game inside of a game, as opposed to just playing football. I was told by local people this year, by saying I'm not playing against you. I'm not. Why would I play against the Benz? And then at the time, our roster was
I'm sorry. Let me cut you off real quick, Black. Until you have a crisis and you need games, and then you ask those AA teams to fill your schedule, and then you call them scared when they don't. That's crazy.
That's absolutely insane.
So let's take the Seminoles, right? Let's take the Seminoles for example, right? So they've gone into leagues and run through leagues, right? So if let's say you take that Dallas Prime team, right? You would be expecting, although they're beating the crap out of the teams, you would still expect that if you play them, they're going to be a high-quality team based on what you've seen at them when they played against other high-quality teams, probably at other national games.
I want to see Dallas Prime. I want to see Dallas Prime play them in Kings Bay. I don't want to see Dallas Prime play them anywhere else.
Right.
But you acknowledge that they do, like you acknowledge that, all right, this team has shown that they're capable of playing at this high level. Yeah. Same way with the Seminoles, right? We've seen that they're capable, whether or not you look at the schedule and they're like, oh man, they're beating the shit out of these guys by 90 points. Fuck. I mean, what kind of competition are they playing? Well, I mean, they're still a good team, right?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't, that's why I say history is a part of it.
I'll disagree. You can't assume that
locally,
because we've seen some top-heavy leagues where the top team is just racking up wins, and they're the only good team around. Again, the rest of this country is not like the East. It's not.
It's not.
Yeah, it's really
agreed, because they're more willing to travel in other areas than we are over here.
They don't.
Also, the quality of football is not as good.
I just named you two teams in the state of Wisconsin that didn't play each other.
We don't play each other.
Okay.
Unless somebody on the schedule makes us play each other.
But we have a team upstate, and we have teams upstate New York that don't play each other.
Yeah, we don't play each other.
Right,
but that's still further than that's still further than Wisconsin, right? That's still, like, again, if you pass by league champions to play other teams that are not league champions, that's kind of wild, and that's where regional comes in. And again, that's what we're saying. The road to nationals has to go through a regional.
I agree with that. I'm down with.
And the best example is when you guys did it in the Harvest Bowl.
But we ended up playing 3 games. We wasn't supposed to. We were only supposed to play, like, I think 1 or 2. They actually threw that last one at us at the last minute.
Right, but that was you being AA. That wasn't a requirement for AAA. And those are the ones trying to claim to be the best in the nation.
Y'all could have made a killing. New York City would have been up. Y'all would have made history. Y'all chose to play somebody else's shit instead of creating your own thing, make your own money. That was weird. Because now, to me, the thinking is now screwed because you want to fit into somebody else's box.
You guys stop
Right.
living in the past, Sean.
I do not understand how y'all did not. The whole world was waiting for the game, and y'all both
Yes.
said we're not playing against each other. They was calling you little bro,
Little
bro.
bros.
They was calling you little bro, and that didn't mean nothing to you. Yes,
We
that
did
happened.
that. Well, I mean, we had to wait a year.
Oh,
Julius,
Nah,
Julius,
man. Play
the real
game,
reason
dude.
that
Play
New York,
game, man.
the real reason that New York is fractured is because a couple of teams refuse to keep coming back to the same league with the other teams because they want to be in a 3A league, bro. That's the reason New York City is fractured. It's the reason you guys left. It's the reason the Seminoles left the EFA, the 5-star. It's because they wanted to play. Oh, we want to play 3A competition.
Perception.
They left for nonsense.
For somebody
It's
else's
nonsense.
perception.
But Sean,
and then,
all
and
right,
then
so
you
let me-
guys,
let
and
me
then you
be
guys
honest with you,
folded the
Sean.
state. Then you guys folded the state of New Jersey.
It affects us.
How did you
I
fold the whole
agree, but
entire
Sean,
state?
when we were in the EFA, I was getting scolded by beating teams by 70 points. I had games where they cut out entire sections of a quarter. We were running the clock in
Okay,
a number of our games.
you guys were clearly
Yes.
better.
Oh,
but
no,
you
no,
guys were
stop.
clearly
That's
better.
No,
not
no, no,
fair
no,
to
whoa.
us.
Stop.
Yeah, now
Yes,
you got-
you were right, Jules. You're right. Who do you play this week?
Now you got 4
Nobody,
bye
but I
weeks.
again,
Okay.
You played
but
yourself.
but
Did you
again,
beat yourself by
Patterson,
70 this week?
But again, that's not. But that's that. Why do that? And then when we win, or like if I decide to put an offensive lineman in that wide receiver, they're like, "Oh, that's fucked up." What the fuck?
Okay. Who do you play this week?
Yeah, but then we had guys who brought a guy off the basketball court to play in the game.
Who would
Okay,
you
that
rather
was
have?
one team.
I
Come
don't know.
on,
Black Sea.
like let's
The
not
E-
be disingenuous
You
here.
have teams
I'm
like
not.
that
I'm
in your
not.
league
I'm just.
now, Julius. You
I'm
have
just
teams
saying.
like that in your league now.
Right now. Right now.
Right now.
You got them right now.
Yo, listen. Since we've joined,
Stop
and
it.
this is
You know
just
you're
me
wrong.
being honest.
Stop. Listen, you know you're
Right.
wrong. Listen,
No, you're
you're
wrong.
arguing a point. You know
I'm
you're
wrong
wrong.
about what? What am I wrong about?
Because the
Because you have
games.
teams like
Stop.
you have teams
No,
that
Sean.
are.
Hold
Sean,
on, I got three people
I'm gonna
talking.
remove you right now.
Say
Hold on.
something.
Because Jules, the games that you are living up for right now, you could have taken anyway. But the games in which you needed to be diplomatic and play, you would have had them as well. You literally had both in the palm of your hand because nobody was forcing you to play a limited amount of games. Nobody said you couldn't play the Seminoles. Nobody said you couldn't play the East Penn. Nobody said you couldn't play those other teams. You could have played them anywhere. You chose not to.
Yeah, you
Exactly.
can do that on your own.
Wait, hold on. You said I could have played them. When could we have
You
played
could
them?
have set up a game after the season goal.
Hold on.
You're talking to the wrong guy about that because
I'm
again,
asking. I'm just asking. When could we have
I
played them?
played in leagues where I played an independent schedule outside of it to play the commiserate amount of games.
Let's not even go through that far. They both said they're not playing each other as soon as both of them won the championship. They said we're not playing each other. They both said it. They just
Why?
There was so many lives.
What does that have
They
to
said
do with
it.
anything?
I was there.
What
They
does that have
said
to
they're
do with
not
anything?
playing against each other, and that was it. They just left it at that. They're not playing against each other. Brooklyn will not play against Brooklyn, and they just left it at that.
Why? Because they were a 3A. They were in a 3A league at that point. We were 2A. We
I
were in a
think you
2A.
would have won that
According
game.
to who?
You guys were hot. You guys were
Jules,
hot at
did
that
you
time.
feel
You would have
like-
won.
So you wait. You're
feel
telling
like you
wait.
We
You
played
couldn't
each other
you
in
couldn't have
2023.
beaten.
Like,
No.
Jules,
Whoa. I'm gonna
Jules,
cut
you have
all
the
y'all
same
in a
roster you
second.
have now.
Wait, Jules. You
That's
couldn't
the
have
same
won that
roster.
game. You couldn't have won that game.
Jules, you got the same
I
roster.
don't know. I
You
really
guys
don't
would
know.
have won the
I don't
game.
Jules, you have the same roster and the same
You-
coaching staff that
No,
you
you
had
couldn't-
back in the day.
You're telling me that
I thought you meant like the same roster between the Seminoles and the.
No.
and
When
the
you was 2A,
no. Jules, wait. Stop for a second.
Go ahead.
Black.
no.
Hold on for a second.
Let's fix
Jules,
that. No.
Jules.
Let's fix that. No. Let's fix
talking
that.
at the same time.
You
Go
just
ahead.
called yourself a 2A team at the time, but you have the
You
same
did.
roster.
We were. We
You
were
got
in
the
the
same
EFA.
roster.
You got
That's
the
what
same
they
roster.
tagged.
Nobody
We
asked
were.
us to be.
You have the
Nobody asked
exact
us to be
same
2A or
roster.
3A. No, somebody
I
just made
get
it
that,
up.
but what I'm saying is that we both had an opportunity to do
You
that. So why
have
would we?
the same
Would you have been the
roster.
Knowles'
calling yourself
easiest game
2A
of the
or
year?
3A?
That year, would you have?
No.
we wouldn't have been the Knowles.
Wait.
No.
I want to ask this one simple question. If you have the same roster, was you 3A back then or are you 2A now?
Uh-oh.
I would say we were. I believe we were 3A back then.
So why didn't you play the nose?
There you go.
There you go. That's all. That's
Because
all.
somebody else-
And why
because
was
somebody
3A
else-
not 3A?
That's all I'm saying. If you felt
Somebody's
like 3A, then
opinion
you
got
should've
you
played the
fucked
Knowles.
up. Because somebody's
I was
opinion
rooting for
fucked
y'all
you up.
motherfuckers. I was rooting for you,
Somebody,
dude. That's what
no,
you know. I was
nobody
rooting for you.
fucked us up. Nobody
know I was
fucked
rooting
us
for you.
up. We just decided not to play each other.
I'm saying
Somebody's opinion who you don't even know, that you have
influence you.
no idea who they are,
Right.
convinced you that you should not play that game. That's what you're trying to tell us.
No, nobody convinced us not to play
Come
that
on,
game.
Okay, well,
bro.
that's what you just
They,
said when
they
you said
not
what
there,
you
not
read.
no, like they didn't talk to us and tell us that. If that's what you're
You
saying,
made
like
Nobody had to say it to you.
you made yourself Appalachian State. That's what you did. That's crazy. That's crazy. Because even Appalachian State, which you weren't, but even Appalachian State had a chance, and they played the game.
You could have
I
made
believe we
thousands of
would have
dollars
had a
at the
chance to beat
gate,
them. Yes, I
yo.
do believe that.
Streaming would have
Back
been
then, yes,
crazy. Oh my
And
god,
now
I
you
missed y'all.
you
yes.
folded the whole entire state of New Jersey.
Oh
No,
Right,
man.
and
Julius, and this is why because I don't believe in the Nationals, but it affects my league, it
I
affects
believe
my
in the
team, it
Nationals.
affects my brand, right? Because teams left. You guys, again, I'm not saying you specifically, but teams recruited the Bears to come over to their league, leave our league to come over to their league because you want to play real competition,
Real
and then they
talk.
played the
let
same
me
shit.
hold on. Let me be honest with you guys. Okay, now we wanted to play teams like the Seminoles,
Nobody stopped you. We
but
never said you weren't
Sean, you
allowed.
said you wouldn't take the Seminoles into the EFA. You told me
You
that.
could have. You could have
That's
played
not a
without them.
You didn't have a
requirement.
chance to play the
That's not a
Seminoles. You didn't
Why
requirement.
ask them
would
to
I
play.
not want to go? I wanted to go to a league where we could play teams like that. That's what I
But
wanted
you
to
but
do.
need a
nobody
no, no,
stopped you from
stop,
playing them
Sean.
outside
Sean,
the
I'm gonna
league.
cut you
Why
right
would
now.
I then have
Sean,
to
I'm
turn
gonna cut
around
you.
and
I'm gonna
play the
cut you on both right
postseason
now.
or
Maybe,
preseason?
maybe I wasn't clear.
If you
Jules,
would have said, you know what, I'll take the
nah,
Seminoles in,
Jules, nah,
and
nah, nah, nah,
probably
nah.
with some
Hold
Jules,
on,
because
ground
hold on.
rules,
no, I got it, I
maybe
got
you
it.
would have had a
Because
shot.
I
there are
want to play
games that
teams like
you
the
need.
Pharaohs. So I
Hold on,
called you,
black,
boss
hold
man.
on, black,
Go
hold
ahead.
on.
Pharaoh,
Go
The
yeah,
ahead.
Jules,
games,
I want to
black.
play teams like the Pharaohs this year, so I called you.
There you go.
Yes, I agree.
But the
But
game, but
yeah,
right now
but
you
we could
don't
have been
have
in
the
this.
games that you need. You can
Uh-huh.
always have the games that you
That's all you
want.
do. That's
That's
all
how
you need to
semi-pro
do.
works. You can always have the games that you want in
You
semi-pro
can.
by
Oh.
owners picking up the phone. The games that you need a league for that. And you left you left the league that had your needs for games that you could have had anyway. That's what you
Why do
did.
I have to do that? If
And
they would
then
have,
and
Because
why
remember,
do
then
we
I
only
have to
have
go
four
around
teams
saying
this year.
doing that? Like we
That's
have a
why.
league
Because
where
now
they're
you
in.
only
Why
have
not
four
join that
teams.
league that they're in?
You don't anymore, bro. You don't. You
because you're in
don't.
the situation you're in now. That's why.
Yo, okay, let me ask you a question. How many teams are in the EFA?
5.
So what's the big difference here? Like you
The
guys are
What
big
are you
sitting
doing
difference
here
this
is
weekend?
the
throwing
big
Oh,
things
difference
no,
is
at
don't
me.
answer
realize
Like,
that. Don't answer
the
that.
big
What are you doing this
you're
weekend?
talking as if like we're in this vast difference. Like we're
What
not
are
in
you
a big
What are you
difference
doing
here.
this weekend?
I don't have a game.
Okay, gotcha. That's the difference.
So let me ask you a question. Did the EFA have forfeits
the
last year?
big difference.
Did the EFA have
Listen,
forfeits last
listen.
year?
Listen. The big difference is we have 5 teams that are all well, maybe 3 teams that are definitely in the hunt, 100%, and we have 5 teams that all have a
The team
shot at
fold
being able.
last year in the EFA.
We have 5 teams that have a shot at being able to finish their season solid.
Sean's
We
team
You're
have
don't
five.
turning
stand
around
a
the question.
chance.
This is what
I'm
saying.
answering the
We're
question.
all. Everybody. I think too many people are sitting here like throwing stones at each other, trying to make themselves look
No
better than they're.
stones. There's
No,
no stones.
So
no,
what are you
you
talking
wait. The only
about?
ones we're
You're
throwing
like,
stones
how
were
many? Do you
y'all
have
when
a
y'all were
game this
like
weekend?
y'all scared of come over here and not have games either.
Who- Oh my God! Yes, we wanted to play better teams.
Then
That's what
pick up
we
the
wanted.
phone.
Nobody
No,
stopped you
Nobody
no.
stopped
Why
you.
do we have to stay in the league to do that? Like
You
we have
stopped
teams
you.
in the league to
because
do
you
that.
need
Why
a
do we have to stay over
pro.
there? No,
Because you
no,
need a
no,
opponent.
no. We all
You
lost
don't.
teams. We've all lost them. The
What was the
EFA started
score of
with
your game
12,
this week?
right? The EFA started with 12, right?
No,
Yes, they did.
Yes, they
Go to
did.
no, they
hosted.
didn't. We didn't have
Right on
12. I
hosted, you
don't think
had
we had
12
12. I
in
think we had 10.
2019.
I think
Nah,
we
it's
had
not
10.
hosted. I think you
It's
had 12.
12 in 2019 on hosted.
Yeah.
Whether or
On
not
Okay,
they
hosted, I
but
think you got
actually.
but
12.
listen again. Teams are not.
Two
Listen,
folded before the season
It's
started.
stop.
irrelevant.
Right, I'm
How
pretty
many
sure we
different
had
teams?
10.
Hold on. How many teams do you have on your schedule? That's what you need. And right now, you have how many teams on your schedule? You have the Knowles. You have the Pharaoh. I'm sorry. You have the Knowles. You have the Bears. And you
Uh-huh.
have
East
East
Penn.
Penn.
East Penn. You have
Yes.
3 teams on your
How
schedule.
many
And,
top tier beating?
but, yo, Sean, hold on for a second. You have the Bandits on your resume. You're trying to make that's what you guys said. Y'all want to make a resume for nationals, and your resume right now are what? A team that moved out. So Sharks, Bears, East Penn, Silk City, because you played them on the field, and
A half a game.
right, and then you picked up an extra opponent by playing the Bandits. You could have done the same exact thing by picking up the phone and making your 4 opponents into a resume of 8 opponents or 9 opponents.
To do that, man. Like I get you guys' angle.
And you
But
would have done it
all
in
right, so
season,
let me ask you a
That's the
but
way
question.
you're
it
but
used
you're
to
the
go.
one that's
It
going to
used
be
to run like that.
but you're
Used
the
to
one
be
that's going
like
to be
that.
scrambling at the end of the year to try to find teams from Podunk to play instead of just doing it right during the course of
Yeah,
the
do it
regular
early.
season.
Just
All
get
right,
it
so
out
let me
the
ask you
way.
a question, Patterson. I want to ask you a direct question. It's not going to
Yeah.
be disrespectful. When your league, and you lost the teams in your league, you said no. These guys played certain amount of teams on the field, and whether or not you have 3 or 4 teams, it's still a league championship. Did you not say that about your league?
I said the league championship is based on which teams are in the league. My resume for
And
that
it was
year,
still
and
valid. You said it was still valid.
my league
League
championship
chip
is
is a league
valid,
chip.
Yes. You said it
right?
was still valid and not
Correct.
ISL.
But that
Yes. So
doesn't.
what?
But no, my resume for nationals was built on the teams that I played outside of that. Keep in mind, Jules, that I never played the same team twice unless it was in the playoffs. Even if I had 5 teams in my league, I always played outside games for my resume. Just like you need to play outside teams for your resume. We're
The
saying the same
Seminoles
thing, which
are
is why
multi-league
you scheduled the
champion.
Bandits.
Seminoles are multi-league champion. Pharaohs are multi-league champion. The Bears won are actually a multi-league champion and have won nationals. The
Bandits are
Sharks.
multi-league
You
champion.
Who?
Right, and the rest of the teams that
Bandits are
couldn't compete with
multi-league
any of
champion.
us. The rest of the teams that you're playing, the East Penn Raiders, I would beat the dog shit out of. The Silk City Sharks folded. We would have beat them by 50. It's the same thing.
You
To,
can't.
to
You
say that
can't.
we're 2A and you're
You
3A is the same
cannot
Wait,
build
wait,
a
thing.
wait, wait, wait a
Nationals
minute, wait a minute.
resume
Demon
on
Knights
beating
multi-league champion.
3 teams.
And the Bandits
Yeah.
are multi-league champion.
Yes. So
Yes.
I mean, we have 3, 4. It was 4 of us until the Sharks left. That fucked it all up. You know what I'm saying? That fucked a lot of this shit up. But the Sharks were
Right,
a really good organization. They won
right.
the
But
LAL.
again,
They
but
won.
but
Which you
Julius,
could have played anyway, even if you weren't in the league.
Why do I have to stay there and play? Okay, why
You
should
don't
I
have
stay?
to.
Why should
You
I keep
chose.
my
You
team
no,
there
you
and
don't
then
have
get
to
scolded if we beat a team or we got to run the clock? Why should I do that?
because you
That's
have
what
the
happened
Sharks.
2 years in a row in the EFA. That happened 2 years in a row.
Well, what are you doing this weekend?
Oh boy, here we go with that.
Patty, you
The
see,
Thun-
yeah.
the
Go with that.
did you
what
beat
But
yourself
again,
by 70?
huh?
Did you
you
guys beat yourselves by
you
70?
guys
Did the
beat it.
No, we didn't beat ourselves by
You
70.
What
guys
team in the
No, we
beat.
EFA
didn't
you
do
beat
that.
by 70?
But again, all league. So you're saying that your league is just perfect? Like you guys didn't have
No,
any
no,
No,
no.
struggles
But
in the
listen,
past or
no,
anything
no
like
No.
league
that?
is perfect.
So
No league
because
is
no,
this year
perfect.
everything is
No
working
is
out for you,
perfect.
it's
no.
No,
it's great now.
no
It's like
league
let
is
me shit on
perfect,
other leagues,
Julius.
right? That's what
Julius,
you're
no league
saying?
is perfect. No league is
No, we
Okay,
perfect.
showing
I
you
then
what
never,
the
so
I
then
games
fix
are.
never,
it.
I would never embarrass myself and come on here and be like the EFA is perfect. I'm just saying that this is a well-run league. It's properly administrated. The teams are super duper solid. We don't have the crazy drama
And
that's
you play
going on,
games. You
and
play
we
games.
play games every week.
You
I
play
had an awesome
games.
game this week, man. We had an awesome game. We went up to Kingston. We played a game, bro. I didn't have to worry about fucking team not showing up or
So wait.
it's
I'm sorry.
rare.
But you
Sean,
had
hold on
some
a
of those
second.
problems last year.
But Jules, wait,
No, we
no,
didn't.
you wait, stop for a
We had
second.
minimal
You
focus.
guys have beaten a team into oblivion. So because they never made it to the field is better than tapping out in the third quarter. Okay, I get you. You guys beat teams so bad. You beat this the thought of playing beat them. The Silverbacks don't exist because the thought of getting beaten folded them. So again, I know we're talking about like the race to the bottom and tapping out or not finishing games or having to be diplomatic and playing, your backups or whatever is kind of like, okay, I got it. It's whack. But it is not nearly as whack as, oh my God, the thought of being on the field with them folded us. That's crazy.
Let me ask you a question. It's not a question. I remember Sean Kellerman saying this about the LAL. He said, I got the 5-star feeling back again in 2023. He said, I got that feeling back
Absolutely.
3 weeks.
Absolutely. He loved the
Thank
football.
you.
One of the best
So then
seasons I've ever been a part of
why
was
is
that
that now a
LAL season.
problem that we were seeking to do that? When Sean Kellerman reached out to me to play a preseason game, he reached out because he wanted to play a high quality team.
Absolutely.
So why
This
is
is
that a
a much
problem for us to want to do that week in and week out? Now,
Julius,
yes, the
Julius,
LELs
listen.
had its issues,
Can I
but
answer that?
that's what we were seeking.
Can I answer that?
Go ahead.
All right, so 100%. Nah, I'm gonna be honest with you. One of my favorite coaching things ever was that year in the LAL, but that was so polluted with so much bad business. It was like that was like blinding to me. It was, again, the football was phenomenal. I got to play some of the best coaches, some of the best competition. Games games were close. I loved it, yo. It was definitely the best buffet of teams I've ever had.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
But the
on.
business was so
Hold on.
bad. It
Going
was
back
just,
to the whole, he's the football end again. What we were debating about all week. He was the football end. He was happy. I was
yeah,
the business end.
yeah. Pat
I
was the
was
business, and so
miserable.
me and
You
no,
don't
real
have to
talk. So
separate the two of
let's talk
them.
about
You
in
don't have
front
to
of
separate the
everybody.
two of
Me
them.
and
Go
Pat
ahead. Go
argued
ahead.
for
Go
8
ahead, Sean.
months straight.
8
Me and Pat
months.
was in Atlantic City having this argument in front of Nooch. Like, I want to go to the LAL. He's like, this bad business. And we keep, so the point where I even hit up Tammy. Tammy could tell you. I called Tammy myself and I said, this is the situation. I want to join the league. I'm trying to, tell me something to convince Pat so I could bring him to the league. There was nothing that she could tell me to like, literally. I'm like, I need some assurances that I could bring the
That's
Pat and
what
get
we
some ammo.
wanted.
She couldn't do that. That's the
That's what
truth.
we wanted. What is
100%
wrong
true.
with that? What is wrong with that?
Because
That's
bad
what
business
we
is
wanted.
bad business. Bad business is bad business.
I get that part. That I understand. I can't argue that. I
You know what I
can't
mean?
argue the business part of it, that guys have issues with things that go on with the league. I can't argue that.
I'm just
But
looking at
what I'm saying is that
like
we
if you look at it
wanted
with
that.
back end
That's
of
what we wanted.
TFL, bad business ended that. You look at the den, back end of the den, bad business ended that. LAL is full of bad business every year, but we support it, so therefore bad business now trumps. It's not good
I'm
football.
glad you brought that TFL
There's
comment
more
up.
remedies for bad football than bad business. Bad
Yeah.
I'm
business is
glad you brought
fatal.
that TFL comment up.
You know I'm
When
not running from it. I don't, you know what I mean? I
when
don't
we
run from the
played those
past.
teams in the TFL and we won that championship, we felt a sense of legitimacy. Why? Because of the quality of team and the quality of players that we played against.
Yeah.
That Ravens team that we played in 2019 is one of the
Stacked.
most talented teams I've ever seen put together,
Stacked.
ever. And
Absolutely.
we beat that team. That felt good to us.
Weren't you
Now, on
double
the
A
flip
then?
side of that, huh?
Weren't you double A then?
I don't know. I don't know what the TFL was ranked at that point. I can't tell you.
Nah,
Huh?
but he's right though. That year though, the league was
That's what
stacked.
we
That
were
year.
seeking.
The
The
league
That's
best
what we
team
were
the
seeking.
best team you ever seen was a double A team. That's crazy.
Come on now. It had Quad, it had Shamal
No,
Schulters, it had
I agree with
Blair.
you.
You're proving a
I
point.
said that was one of the best teams I've ever seen constructed. 100%. It's just crazy that somebody you don't know, someplace that you don't know where,
called them a
who
double
has
A
seen
team.
nothing,
I don't
has
know if they
said that
were. I don't
They
know if
did.
said
They
that was
spring.
called them
I
a
don't know if
double A
spring
team.
said
nationals
that
was
was
around
double
at
A.
that point. I don't know if spring nationals was around at that point. I'm not sure. I can't. I
It
don't think
was.
so.
It was.
It was,
We
and it was
we
double
called a
A.
double A
Yeah,
league. We was.
it was
It
double
was
A.
around.
Okay. I'm just saying. Listen,
Yeah.
that's what. But again, that's what we were seeking. What is wrong with that?
Julius, again, we could have fixed the football. We could have
Nah,
fixed
I say
teams
there's
like the
nothing wrong
Leeds,
with it.
and
You
we
Not
didn't
could have
want the
fixed
like
the
Seminoles
football.
in.
no, Jules is
You
right.
said you wouldn't accept the
But
Seminoles.
now, knowing what you know, that see, and like this is the best part. Knowing what you know,
Yes.
what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like you know everything. You know you can schedule your own games. You know that you could go somewhere else and get a schedule. See, my whole thing is, what do we do going forward? You can't fix it. I love these conversations because it brings up everything. But then the next question is, what happens going forward? And then only time will tell.
Because
We're gonna make
the
the same
team
Diving
mistakes we
owners
right
normally
into
do.
nationals, baby. We win. We're
the
diving right into it.
team owners at this point are stronger than the league ownership in general, right?
You
The
should be.
best league I have ever taken part in was literally like, hey, look, start your games the last week of March, get your games done by July, whatever it was, and you have to play these 4 or 5 teams within that framework. But outside of that, schedule whatever you want, get whatever resume you want together, and then playoffs start this weekend and that weekend. there you go, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked beautifully because the team owners, very similar to Five Star, were like, "Hey, look, this is when I can play. This is when I can't play. No problem. I want vacation. I got guys that have a wedding this weekend. I'm not playing that weekend. Boom, boom, boom. When are you free? When are you available? Boom, boom, boom." And since we have 5-team leagues and 6-team leagues or whatever, I think it makes a whole lot more sense rather than doing this home and home thing. I hate playing teams twice. If you choose to play teams twice, then so be it or whatever. But ultimately, that's when the IFA and the TFL, when they came together, we said, "Hey, look, these particular games that you play cross league, they matter for your league standing." So the last year of the IFA, we were playing TFL teams on crossover games, and those games counted toward our playoff positioning. But on our schedule, we didn't have the same 3 opponents. We had 6 and 7 opponents. And for people that, from the outsiders, the looky-loos or whatever, that like to gossip, they're like, "Oh, you're in a 4-team league." No, I'm not in a 4-team league because, I mean, I'm playing my schedule. My schedule, I have 8 different opponents, which is a lot better than what is going on now.
Well, we have tried that in the LEL, and some of these teams are just like, nah, we good, man, we're
But
good.
that's it. But listen,
Well,
Julius, but
maybe
that's a
stop calling
different.
them AA and they won't do
Yeah,
that.
that's a different part of the problem,
Nah.
right? That's a different part of the problem when you're gonna have a certain group of people that are gonna always make it like a hostile. It's a hostile environment for other groups of people. Then they just like, fuck them. We don't need to fucking play them. Fuck them. Let them sink on their own.
I don't know who's made things hostile, but I mean, I'm assuming you're alluding to.
It's not just
You
one
don't know.
person.
You're like
It's
not
not. It's
connected to
not
the
just one
semi-pro
person.
world.
It's not just our buddy Skip. It is definitely a culture that has been developed. You can't
It's
run.
definitely no. It's definitely not just Skip. It's definitely not just Skip.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. But I mean, listen, look, I don't think that we don't. Nobody wants to play the same. I don't think most teams want to play the same team twice. We would like to play
I
different
like
opponents.
playing
Like
teams.
even that league the Detroit Ravens are in. It's a 5-team league, and they schedule crossover games.
Are you
They
sure?
play, huh?
Are you sure?
Yes, you
Because
can go check their
because both
webpage and
because
you'll
both
see.
because both you and Light have this habit of saying things like with certainty and truth. You're like, "Yeah, that's not what happened." So
What have I said that's not true that I said with certainty?
the system that you guys believe in, that whole entire thing was not what you guys
I
said it
didn't say
was.
that they watch the games. I just said that if you guys don't believe in it, then don't do it. I never said that I know that for certain that they
All
watch
right,
it. I know
so
that Crow has done a live explaining how he goes through his
Okay,
rankings.
pause for one second. Pause for one second, Julius. What system is better? Which system is better? Patterson's weekly ratings that he's doing live and he goes on the thing and shows you exactly why and what, or any other system ever produced? Which one's more
I
legitimate?
will say Patterson's because that he watches games and his is more
Okay,
localized.
Patterson. I'm being honest. Is this really difficult, bro? Is it really hard
What?
so
doing what you're doing?
talk to me about
Huh?
the Detroit Ravens.
What about them? I said that they play that league that they're in. They play crossover games. You can go to their website. On their website, it will show you it's in parentheses the league that they're playing, the team that they're playing.
Got it. So on my screen right now has the Detroit Ravens schedule.
Go ahead.
Cleveland Rams, Beaver County Bengals, Cayuga Falls Rapids. Now, those two teams, the Bengals and the Rapids, I'm not calling Detroit Ravens bad, by the way, but the
Yeah.
Bengals and the Rapids are tier 2 teams, which means that
Listen, all I'm saying is I didn't
that
say they were playing the greatest quality. I just said they played
Oh,
crossover games.
okay,
but you did say before that you
but
left the
double
EFA
A,
so you could play different teams without
double A
doing
teams.
what the Ravens are doing.
And by the way, these rankings, the T2, which is double A, and they have Bengals, Rapids, Knights, and Dukes. Those are 4 separate opponents on their schedule that are deemed by people that look at games in the region as second tier teams, not top competition. Now, the tier 1 teams, the Cleveland Rams, the Racine Raiders, they played twice. The Indy
Yeah.
Bison They played twice, but the Indy Bison are a 6-5 team. The Cavalry Knights, I'm sorry, that was not only a tier 2 team, but a 5-4 tier 2 team. The Cincinnati Dukes was a tier 2 team with a 3-4 record. The Michigan Bills, who were in the Nationals conversation at one point, right? 4-8 team. They beat them 41-0. That was a tier 1 team that they had.
That's a team that you want to play. That's a team
How
that
many
you think is.
how many tier 3 leagues are there out there?
But no, Julius, but stay on target right now. That Ravens team, that's a top quality team. He just explained to you that they weren't with facts. Explain with some other facts that they're a top quality team.
Well, I mean, that's what they had. That's probably what they could find to play.
No. You said they found competition outside of their league. That's what you said, correct?
Yes, and we did.
And that's the competition that they found, which were, again, not. I don't watch that much Midwest football. I've seen it, but I don't watch much of it. But the people out there that have seen it have said that 1, 2, 3, 4 of their opponents are in a second class, or what you guys would say as double A.
Mhm.
Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of their opponents were tier 1 teams. So
Okay,
5 opponents, 5 teams that they played were AAA teams. 4 teams of what they played were AA teams.
Okay. Yes.
But you said that they were one of the best teams in the nation.
And
Well,
you
when
play
they go
all
to nationals,
AAA
they
teams.
win. When they're playing
50%.
teams from other parts of the country, they win, right?
Only because the teams don't travel well, highly likely.
This is their resume. This is what gets you to nationals. This is what. Well, wait a minute. They have a AAA bank account. Okay, and just say that. But
Hey
then,
man, they go live on Facebook. I don't know how much of a. Oh no, actually no. They do. They put theirs behind a paywall. They put their games behind a paywall.
okay, well, there you go. So out of
They got some.
their 9 unique opponents,
Uh-huh.
almost 50% of them are AA teams.
Okay. I
That's
mean,
the
I
team.
don't.
I'm just telling you the team that you chose.
Okay, but when we went to the LAL, not one team did we beat by more than 30.
Okay, but you had a total AAA
No,
schedule.
actually, no. I'm sorry. We did the Red Devils.
But you had a total AAA schedule according to you.
I didn't say it was a total AAA. I didn't say that.
It
I
has to
said
be because
we-
that's the
It
system that
has
you
to be, but
believe in.
the league was
No.
Julius,
The
Julius,
SEC is the
You-
SEC. Every team in the SEC, great.
Every team
Julius.
in the SEC is an SEC team. There's no Division 2 teams or 1 AA teams in the SEC. They're all SEC teams.
Right,
Right?
Julius.
That's the system. That's the system
They-
that you believe in, sir. You said you believed in the system, and the system says that even the last place team in AAA is still a AAA team. That's how it works.
Julius,
Col-
you
the
just
Col-
mentioned
the
you just mentioned
Colorado
the Red
Rockies.
Devils.
The Colorado Rockies are not playing the Coney Island Cyclones.
I wouldn't
Julius,
say that.
you just
Go
named
ahead.
it. You just named the Red Devils, right? You just named the Red
Yeah.
Devils. That year, I would have beat the Red Devils to oblivion, right? I would have beat the dog shit out of them, but I was 2A and they were 3A because of somebody's opinion that never seen either team play.
At
I
least
can't
this is
speak to
based
that.
on people
If
that
Epps
have
was
seen
here,
the
I don't know if
teams
he would say
play.
that. If Epps was here, I don't know if he would say that, man. I can't speak to that, man.
I 1000% would say it because they ducked us. They didn't want to play against us anymore. That's why they left. They didn't care. They knew they were going to get slaughtered in that league, but they didn't want to lose to us, dude. It's not rocket science.
Sean,
And
when
by the
we came
way,
up with
if this is what they came up with this year, and again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just giving you perspective, so you're not acting like this is the holy grail of schedules. If they built their resume off of worse than this, right? Talk about resume. They built their resume off of playing who exactly? If this is their toughest schedule in years.
they said that was their toughest schedule in the years, or I don't know.
If they selected their opponents, if they had more of a selection of opponents this year than in prior years, if in prior years they played the league model where they just played who's in their league, then their schedule, in theory, must have been worse or not as competitive. That's why you saw Racine as a 4-loss team this year when Racine was winning like 90-something games in a row. They were winning 90-some-odd games in a row because they were in a league that was not very good. And by the way, I'll even say it, the Brooklyn Mariners. Great team, don't get me wrong, but there were years in which the Garden State Football League was not that good.
Mm-hmm. But let me ask you a question. So, in those years that league was not good, did the Mariners go to nationals?
Yes,
Absolutely.
every year, almost every year.
Okay. Did they win their national game?
Okay, Julius, but
So,
let's talk about that.
So if
You
they
like
won the
history.
game, then
No,
they're
listen,
playing
you
other
like history.
competitions.
Listen,
AAA, AAA bank
all right, so
account.
listen, Dave, don't derail me because this gets at the heart of it, right? Let's talk about history, right? Because I know Pudgy well, and I played against him, and he wrecked my team,
Yeah.
right? So the Mariners would play week 1 against the Long Island Seahawks. They would beat the dog shit out of them, 36-0, and then the Mariners Pudgy would walk over to their sideline because we didn't have Facebook back then, and he'd be like, "Yeah, come play with the Mariners," right? And he would fucking take their 3 best guys, right? And then week 2 we would play against the Brooklyn fucking Black Knights or whoever it was, and be like, you don't want to play with these bums. Come play with the Mariners, right? And then he would take their 3 best guys, right? And by the end of the season, his 35-man squad would be 65 guys, and he'd take them on the fucking road and beat the dog shit out of fucking national teams. That's why that league folded. Teams were sick and tired of losing their guys in the middle of the fucking season to the Mariners, right? And people ultimately left, and that's how we started the RAFL because teams like, we're not fucking doing this anymore.
And they
Teams
said
left and went to
and they were saying, not on Facebook, obviously, because it wasn't invented, semi-pro's dying.
Yeah, yes.
They were saying it back then too.
Yes,
it was the same exact thing.
they were saying it on New York City Football Forum.
Yeah, and it was like fucking for hours and fucking you had to scroll back. You couldn't search nothing. You had to scroll for comments. It was bananas, but it was fun.
Yeah.
When was this? 2000? 99?
99, 2000, yeah.
All
For
the way
real.
to like 07? Yeah. 07.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's when I started. It was 07. 06, 07. Somewhere around there.
But again, it was the same exact scenario with the Mariners in the GSFL, and we watched the same. That's why I keep saying, like, whenever guys are like, "Oh, it's going to be different this time," no, it's the same thing. We're doing the same exact thing, the same fucking carousel, around and around we go with the same exact scenarios, and people don't want to fix it. Like we served up a solution. Kelman came on and explained it in fucking detail for 20 minutes. Like, yo, if everybody you went to nationals with 38 guys once, you had enough guys. 38 guys is enough guys for people, right? It's enough guys. 40 guys is a full roster. You don't need fucking player number 41, never plays no appreciable play time, doesn't have any fucking impact in the game. You don't need that 41st, 42nd, 43rd guy. But the Dolphins did. But other teams did. Teams in the area did. And that's why I was saying I wasn't trying to make a personal attack on the Pharaohs. Like, you folded the Dolphins. No, they had their own fucking problems. But taking guys away, like, not even you taking them. You didn't even have to call them to take them. Just you having open seats on your bus to fucking let them come sit on, and those guys being able to leave that team, right, contributed to them folding. And that's the problem with semi-pro. Not the Pharaohs, not Brooklyn, not the Seminoles, not any specific team, not the Demonites, not Ray and the Panthers, not anybody.
And by the way, the decision if there was a 40-man roster, and again, I've had 65 plus man rosters before, is as a GM, as an owner, you got to say, well, am I going to choose the 40 best football players, or am I going to choose the 40 paid, or am I going to choose the 40 that are the most dependable that are going to play week in and week out?
Because
that
honestly,
adds
Julius,
a lot of strategy. That adds a lot of
right.
strategy to it that you guys have eliminated by having these massive rosters.
I know. And it's funny, Julius, because I constantly wind up getting to arguments with you on Facebook for some reason when I agree with 90% of the shit you post. Like, I just don't comment on that shit. You know, I'm just saying, you were talking about, like, oh, what about these guys? They don't pay, they don't come to practice. Guess what? Like, they would have to, if the rosters were smaller and there was more teams, they would have to go to the
your resume would have to be a lot tighter. And by the way, when Coach D passed away, best example of most recently where I had to do this, when Coach D passed away, the year after, I had like 85 guys at practice. That's the year that I was literally posting the practice numbers.
These motherfuckers at practices, man. How the fuck do y'all do this?
I don't know.
And you could ask. I wish Coach Black was back here. I was literally telling people, "Oh, you can't go to practice? That's great. It looks like you might not have a roster spot though." It was literally like Hard Knocks, man. That shit was hilarious. And you still owe $10? Well, I could give you. They literally we'd have jokes about me refund Patterson because if you acted up, I would just refund you your money because I had a waiting list of 20 guys like ready to make payments so they could get a roster spot. But again, that same dynamic happens if it's a 40-man roster, a 45-man roster, especially if you're playing local football. The reason why I needed a 65-man roster is because I was going 10 to 15,000 miles per year.
All right, Julius, I don't know if the guys approached you with it, but I definitely now that it's done and over, I can fucking open my mouth, right? Earl's probably gonna yell at me, but whatever, it is what it is, right? Fucking, we offered the LAL teams. If you guys, we thought that the league was gonna entirely fold, right? And we can't just add 3A teams to a 2A league because then we would have the same problem here. The Seminoles would come in and fucking everybody loses by 80, and now teams want to quit our league, right? So we can't just
come on.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that would be the perception, right? That would be the perception. So we offered a couple of the teams, the Sharks and the Bears. We said, hey, listen, you guys can come in, but you're gonna have to dump players. You're gonna have to go down to like a 36 or 40-man roster, right? And when we told that to the Sharks, when we told Will, he was like, nah. He was like, nah, we're not interested. Like they're no longer interested, right? Because he didn't want to lose 18 guys, right? Which is fucking crazy to me because I said, how many guys do you have? He's like, 58. I'm like, do you really need, like, if you dump 18 guys, we'll give you the silverback schedule. Like we offered it to him, right? And he was like, nah, I'm not dumping the guys. How good did that work out for him? He went to a league, went 0-4, and then went to another league. It worked out bad for him. Right,
I totally understand that, but I think.
And then, but now look at how it would have played out. He would have dumped 18 guys, and those guys most likely would have, if they wanted to play football, they would have probably been pissed at the Sharks. Would have went immediately to the Gravediggers, and then the Gravediggers would have picked up guys. They would have picked up 18 guys. 18 guys that the Sharks didn't need.
Some of that is true. Maybe some guys, but again, there is a chain reaction, and I agree with Will on one part of what he said when he was talking about his team is that, listen, if I cut this guy, then maybe that guy. But we all knew the rules beforehand. I'm not even going to get into all of that nonsense that happened.
But you noticed that in that first live that occurred when Drewski asked Makai the question, "Are you sure you're good? Is your roster good?" Makai was like, "Yeah, we're Gucci, we're Gucci, we're Gucci." And there was a bunch of people saying, "Y'all not Gucci." So again, that goes to the owners not even. Again, every owner seems to be moving based on their team self-interest and not the league self-interest.
Not everybody does that.
But Julius,
if you're not on the same page, if you're on different pages, then if the league doesn't have a page, everybody's on their own timing.
Julius, did Jason Walker offer you the same thing that I offered them? Did he tell you that if you dump guys that you could come into the EFA? Did he tell you that, or you didn't even know?
I knew about that, yes.
Okay, so you did know that.
That's not fair to us. That's not fair to us.
How is it not fair? How is it not fair? How is it not fair to you? How is it fair for us to let a 60-man team in?
Turn around and cut 17 guys?
How is it not fair?
That's
you guys labeled yourself 3A talent, and we're 2A talent. So how is it not fair to us?
Ron, the Gravediggers said that they didn't pick up anybody. So
then turn around and then cut guys that paid their money, have been coming to practice, that were loyal to my team. Why would I then turn around and cut these motherfuckers? Like, why would I do that?
Listen, I applaud you for being I mean this. I applaud you for being up to you guys in that answer. I really do respect that answer. But I'm just saying, how do we level the playing field so that you don't have one team of 18 guys playing one team against of 60 guys? How do we level that playing field?
This is why I asked the question multiple times. Why do players leave teams? And I think that needs to be delved into as to what owners are or not doing as to why guys are not coming to their team. That has to be looked at. And I've
discussed this for 20 years already, bro. You're not new to this. You're not a new guy, and you know a lot of owners. Sometimes there's a shiny diamond down the road, and that team is just more attractive. And listen, some guys are lazy, and the further along we get, right? The further along we get, the further it is. Like these guys, they want to just jump on a team and win an easy championship, right? Like that's literally what a lot of kids do, right? A lot of these, especially the younger players, right? They want to jump on a team. They're not even going to really contribute that much, and they're not going to play that much, but they want to win a championship and take pictures on Facebook and Instagram and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is. Is it not?
Part of that is true, but again, let's delve
Okay.
into let's
So
actually look into
but
it. Why?
we as the men, but we as men have to like we as the people who are guarding this forward, we have to figure out a way around that because that's making semi-pro, not the Pharaohs, not the Demonized, semi-pro unstable. It's making the foundation kind of shitty, right? So we have to figure out a way to make that happen. Right.
I,
Listen, I already figured out for my league. We're doing some bowl games in the future with some other leagues. I already figured crossover stuff. We're doing stuff. We're making moves. I know my shit's solid. I'm just saying I don't want to leave out my fellow guy like the other teams in the area, and I don't want to have a constant thorn on my side to have another league in the area that's consistently trying to steal away my one team or two teams and puts us on the fucking verge of fucking collapsing. And we don't want to do that to listen. I don't have a problem with Tammy or the LAL or you or fucking or anybody really. The only persons I have a problem with, and you know what it is, like Yusuf and fucking Skip, bro. And that's like outside of football. I never had a problem with the LAL. I just think that I believe in my product, and I think that my product is good, and I think that product is always it's in its own way. And if it collapses, what are you guys going to do? What are the Bears going to do? I don't want to see good teams just disappear or have to travel hundreds of miles.
but that's not fair to us to then turn around and say that you guys would have to cut 17 guys for the potential for them to go to another team.
Yeah.
If we
So
all had if we all
If
had that, go ahead.
if we had the like this is what I'm trying to say to you, bro. If we have the moniker of being 2A, you have to make concessions to join our league. It doesn't have to we don't have to make concessions to let you in. You have to make concessions to make it palatable for us to join. Or else
yeah,
we
y'all try to get in with demands. It's crazy.
Who? I didn't try to get in with any
No, no.
demands. I
Listen,
understand where he's
in
coming from.
transparency, listen. I never talked to Julius about it because honestly, like, here's what it was: that we never approached any LAL team. I never approached any LAL team. One of the owners from the LAL said, "Oh, this shit is looking shaky. What do we got to do to come in?" And I was like, "Nah, we wrote the fucking schedule already. We're good, bro. This season starts in like 2 weeks. We're good." Right. And then it was Ox, right? So Ox was like, yo, and then I had one team that was super duper shaky. And I was like, listen, here's the deal. I don't know that team is going to be fucking solid. I'll give you their schedule if they don't look good in a couple weeks. And then, listen, Ox is my guy. I'm being honest. Ox saved our 2020 season. I will never turn Ox in a negative. I'll never talk about him negative. I'll never turn him in a negative direction. I was like, yo, we'll give you the schedule. And then you know how the rest played out. Like the rest played out on the outside of us. But then the Sharks were like, oh, well, maybe we could take that schedule, right? And so we never recruited anybody from the LAL. We weren't trying to destroy the LAL. I just thought that the LAL would collapse. I really did. Like, and it still can, right? And that's because of what we're talking about over and over and over again. You guys have I don't want to say an unfair advantage, but you guys are all like Alabama in the SEC, in the fucking in the Sun Belt, bro. That's what it's like. That's what it's like. It's not.
But
It's you, and you keep.
is that not okay? So we've worked to build this. Now you're telling me I
Julius,
gotta
listen.
work to level it out for everybody else?
If you ask, no, I'm not saying level it out. I'm saying if somebody asked me, like, give me an example of a team that you think did it right, I would say the Red Devils and I would say the Pharaohs. That's what I would say. If it was Sean's opinion, say some team that built it right in your opinion, not your own team, right? Because obviously, fucking only a loser would say, you know what I mean? I would say the Red Devils did it right, and I would say the Pharaohs did it right, and I would struggle to say that many other teams. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would struggle. I would say the Bandits. I'm not talking about my longtime rivals. I'm just saying outside of that. I would say, listen, you guys did it right. I'm not saying that.
Is that fair to them for them to say, turn around and be like, yeah, you know what? Half, like not half, but like 40% of your team.
He lost more than that because of a fight in your league. Like, he lost more than that over a fight
I
in your league.
understand that, but that's outside of the point. What I'm saying is that's not fair for what they've built.
So how is it fair for teams like listen, my team does not have 40 guys. The Grave Diggers do not have 40 guys. We don't even have I might have 30 something, 32 guys, right? How is it fair for us to allow teams with 60 something guys, the best guys, not even accounting for the talent, with 60 something guys to come into our league? How would that be fair?
That gap there's a gap there that I think that you guys there's a gap there that I think we're just in different places. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I think
it's not fair
that
for
gap could
us
have been
for us
negotiated
to hamper
because
our
teams have played
team
each other
for
before.
that. Huh?
I think that gap could have been bridged because you guys have played each other before. It's not like you guys are total strangers. But to
No,
not
I'm
even
not talking about
to
I'm not talking about us to the Bears. I'm not talking about us, the Bears, and us and the Bears and the Sharks and the Seminoles to like the teams in the. That's not fair for
but
us
there
to
was
then
no,
turn
no, I get
around
that,
and
but there
do
was
that.
literally no negotiation. They just walked away from the table. And not only that, you have LAL leadership that didn't negotiate as a league. Everybody, it seemed like it was every man for himself. Again,
I don't know about
that
that.
that's a little tough to understand.
I don't know about that. I
And
mean, we
listen,
had one team that was like, the Sharks. They just were more concerned with their team than everybody else.
Oh no, everybody separately made their calls trying to get a life preserver. Everybody did that.
100%. Yeah, and listen, and honestly,
That's
I didn't.
but I mean,
I
is that wrong though?
And meanwhile, the league did not reach out to try to give everybody in the league a life preserver that they could deal with. Again, that's why you would pay a league. You would pay a league to take care of you.
Listen, Tammy did reach out and try to help the Sharks, so I don't know. Will can say that
You
No,
she
know
but
did.
she didn't help the league. She never reached out
yeah.
to us to like set up some kind of crossover situation or whatever. As a matter of fact, we reached
Oh,
out
you
to
say
the LAL. We reached out to the LAL and offered like a champ versus champ situation, some other stuff, and they flat out told us no.
oh, I don't know about I don't know about Can't speak to that. I don't know.
I, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that again. I'm not trying to. This is not like a EFA fucking is better than the LAL conversation. I'm just saying that there's a way to fix semi-pro, and we have the way to fix semi-pro. And listen, I know I'm good. Like, you know what I'm saying, I'm moving forward. I'm gonna be great. I'm just saying we definitely have to try to, like, it has to be a way. You guys are chasing clout from somebody that it, it's they don't even know you. They don't, and you're trying to play teams that like it's like, I don't want to say rigged, but it's like it's nonsense. That Ravens team, he just showed you that the Ravens are playing bums, like probably worse than any team that you would ever play in any bad situation around here.
I've watched them play. They're not a bunch of
You
bums.
watch them play on
I watched
video.
the Ravens play. I've watched some of their games. I've watched them when they played Motor City. I watched them when they played Racine. They're not
The,
Yeah,
bums.
you watch them
the
when they play the
exceptional.
top teams.
That's
I'm talking about what about
yeah.
the rest of
That's
their game?
But we can.
right.
Okay, all right. So when you watch a semi-pro team, you can tell that this is not a good team because the fucking quarterback can't complete a 5-yard pass.
No,
You got
on video.
400-pound
One
offensive
thing
linemen that can't move.
One thing that I have really learned this year is the difference between seeing somebody on video and seeing
Right,
somebody
and playing them.
on in person. Again, I had a certain idea of what the teams in the NEAFL were, and then I saw it live, and I'm like, yeah, they put on a good show for video, but they're not better than the teams around here. Same thing with the ECFL. Like the ECFL teams, the Bulls are a good team. Don't get me wrong, but again, they're not better than the teams in New York. They're not.
You can watch. I've watched teams at nationals, and I watched the level of athleticism. It's like a coach, any coach, and I've seen NFL coaches or college coaches, high school coaches. You can tell if a guy is good within like the first 5 minutes of watching him play. You're like, oh, this
100%,
guy's good.
100%. Listen,
You know
nobody,
he's good.
listen. Nobody in this conversation is saying that the Ravens are a bad team. What we're saying is that they don't play the
They're
level of
not as good as
competition
you
that you
think
play.
they are.
Right. They don't play the level of competition that you play. Right. They don't play the level of competition that I play. And then you listen, you might say, oh, Racine is really good. If the Demonites went over there and played them, they'd lose by 40. And then let's say I would lose, but I promise you I'm not losing by 40. I lost to the Seminoles like by 40, like one time, I think. Like I promise you the Seminoles are a better team than any of these other teams. I know they are. I mean, it's proved. It's proven. They went down and beat them on the road with less guys than they would have at home. It's proven. Right. So
Yeah.
to say that and the only way to ever have legitimacy is what Patterson is doing right now. 1,000% is to have, you can only jump over a team if you actually play them or you have a common opponent. We have some kind of comparison. Not, you can't be ranked over a team that you have just no way of ever making an educated guess. Nobody's ever seen you play. Nobody's ever watched the video, nothing. And then you don't play anybody of the same caliber that they play. It's just not,
I'd be
it's just
hard
purely
pressed to
fantasy.
believe that these guys in the rankings, both Sunshine Bowl and NFE, have not watched a single game from any of these teams that they rank. I'd be hard pressed not to.
Okay, Coach Crow runs his own team. right?
Mhm.
And you know what
Yeah.
that's like. He also runs his own league. You know
Yes.
what that
The MLS
should
Elite.
be
Yes.
like,
And he
right?
runs the
And
Sunshine
and
Bowl.
he
Yes.
also runs. So how much if you're scouting the teams that you're playing, right? And that much film, you really think he's attending in person other people's games in
I don't
other
think he's
leagues?
defending them, but I'm pretty sure he could request film.
Come on, come
Nah,
on.
Again,
Come
I
on
I'd
think
be
now.
what
hard
Pat
pressed.
is saying
I'd
when
be
it
hard
comes to
pressed to
that is
believe that these guys are
100%
not.
Again,
true.
Like,
I'm not saying the Ravens are a bad team. I'm not saying they're not a great team. All I'm saying is that when people make these outlandish comments about AAA, AA, one being the SEC, Ohio State versus Akron, like it's not that. When it's adults, when it's grown men playing recreational football, the gap is not that big when you have solid organizations. It's just not.
when the
So, what you
Seminoles
got,
played
Ron?
that Gladiators team
Well,
in
what up?
nationals in spring,
I
they
I just
actually
wanted to
that team
jump
was
on.
good.
I
Go
just
ahead.
wanted to jump on real quick. Um, I believe that with your ranking system is a lot better than some of the other ranking systems that you see out there that is just not explained.
Who
Like
does
they
Ron?
put their rankings up, they
Yep.
won't even explain how they derived to where they got there, whether they saw games or not. They just won't give any explanation of how they put one team over the next or whatever have you. So when it comes to that, I believe your system is better than most that's out there right now. I don't think that any of these systems, though, or any of them, I don't believe that it's a real true national because most of the time you're not even playing a team from the other side of the United States. You're
Correct.
playing teams all mostly in the East Coast. So
Right.
how
So
can you really say that you're a
if
national
everybody
champion? You're
if
you're just an
everybody
East
had
Coast regional
They
champion.
do go to Texas. They have pulled teams from Texas. I'll say that
This
they have
but
pulled teams
but
from
now here's
Texas.
the thing, Ron. So let me ask you this: if you just said that my rankings are accurate and my rankings, the system, even if you don't agree to it, it does have logic and explanations and what have you. If I have done that for this section of the country,
hmm
if that is done, if there's how many people would it take to cover the whole entire United States? Maybe 8, right? Six,
hmm
maybe 8 people. So if there's 6 to 8 regions that are broken down, just like I broke down the Northeast, then if you have credible regional rankings, then you could debate like the one in the East versus the one in the West and Midwest versus this, because on those borders you might have some crossover football that you could talk about. But overall, you got to be number one in your region to
Yeah,
claim
yeah, but
national.
it's still kind of, it's still a lot of opinionation left in there. It's
Of
still
course,
left
there'll be
to,
opinion.
yeah. So
All
it's
rankings are
not
opinion.
really, as far as I'm concerned, it's opinion. It's not on the field football as if you say, okay, this year, all national tournaments will be set up by, we're going to take the champions in the East. All got to play each other. And then the top, whatever number, will meet up in Florida. The top winners of whoever played the champions in the East will meet up in Florida to play all the champions from the West and the Midwest or whatever have you.
Yeah, but Ron, the
And the
problem is
winners of that will be real national championship.
hold on for 1 second. The problem is in the Northeast, we only have like 3 or 4 champions. So for us, it's easy to figure out. The rest of the country has like 10, 15 league champions, and if they were to play champion versus champion, which they don't, it would take another month and a half of
But
football.
nah, but you would have to not. We should have to narrow it down then. If we have, say, 6 champions on the East, right? Then, or say 6 or whatever have you number, you say, well, this is the number then. This is the number of the spots that's going to Florida. These are the number of games. In order for y'all to send out a West champions, y'all gotta have a regional and narrow that 15 number down. And then
I
you
would
said
agree with that 100%.
like this is how it does in youth football, right? Because I'm big into youth football now.
Hmm.
If you have a regional, like last year we won our league and we didn't have somebody for regionals in our area, we was going straight to Florida to play somebody from the other side. That's
Right.
just how it works. If there's more teams in a certain region, then they got to battle it out to get a chance to, when you get to the regionals, to play, to then see who the actual national champion would be.
Right. So
And
in the
then it would be a
Northeast,
real national championship.
right. So in the Northeast, you have the LAL, the NEFL, the ECFL, the EFA, and then you have upstate. There's a league
That
up there.
league
So
all the way
that's
up upstate New York, AFA or ACA, whatever that is, with the upstate Predators.
the ACFA. Yeah. So that's one
Yeah.
league up there, right? So that's 5 leagues that pretty much is everything here, like everything. So if those 5 teams play it out, I think we have a true like one team going down to Florida for nationals to be national champion to take the best game that they have is a lot better than 4 teams doing it. And again, the other 4 teams, they can take the trip to Florida and play in a bowl game, no problem. But again, we just use that term national champion a little bit.
So would you prefer East Coast champion?
No, I mean, if you're to tell you the
I
truth,
would.
I would rather be the champ of the region than
It's a
under.
regional championship most of the time, especially when you go out there and you have stuff where it's like the Shamrocks and the Seminoles, or us playing, or potentially playing somebody that's not even an hour away from us in Florida. Like, what is that?
Right. So here's the thing, right? If you right now, if you're let's say the Pharaohs win the LAL, right? Then they beat the Bombers. Then they beat the Valley Generals. Then they beat the Bandits. Then they beat the Upstate Predators or whoever's the champ up there. That means that you are better than literally every single
Other team in the region.
period. Like by causation. You
The
have beaten it.
NFC used to do that though, because I remember the Seminoles having to play in the Harvest Bowl.
Right.
But
they lost
you never had technically it was close. Like even the Harvest Bowl, like I just said, even the Harvest Bowl was never a real true regional because it's whoever likes Kellerman to pay to play it.
To a degree, okay, I can understand that, but that comes with the territory though. That's
okay,
all
so
of a part of it.
So but here's the thing. If your AAA football team has a single A wallet, then out of the 6 champions in the region, now there's 5. Now there's 4. Then the 4 play it out. Cool. But then I don't want to see the team that didn't have money to play regionals end up playing in nationals. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I agree. You couldn't even go down the street to play. How are you in Florida playing?
Right. And I don't want to tell you the truth, I don't want to see runner-ups. I don't. And I've been a runner-up.
I agree with that.
I don't want to see runner-ups. So
there should be a runner-up bowl. There should be a bowl for the runner-ups and not in the national tournament.
And have it somewhere cool around here and have it be a cool game, no problem. But ultimately, again, if you have 6 champions and those 6 champions should play it out, no problem. And then we move on from there. If anybody taps out because they don't have the money, then say that. No problem. You tapped out because of money. Don't pop up somewhere else. That's it.
Fair enough. I agree with that. But I listen, again, I get y'all point, but I think that the NFE, the way that they've done it, they've had Harvest Bowl games and tournament style to make it to the Nationals. Now they haven't done it.
But what messed it up was National starts inviting teams straight out of their league championship game, and then if I already got the ticket, I'm not going to sit there and put it at risk.
I understand that, but I think Sean Spencer has been a critic of this whole thing since day one. So we're talking years of this where he's like, but you guys don't play anybody on the East Coast, but they did go through a series of games. Now, normally it's like 1 or 2 games. It's no more than 2. We played 3, and I was like, yeah, this is ridiculous. I didn't even know at that point that like 3 was just absurd to be playing. But yeah, I agree. But
why is it so absurd? Like I said, I'm big into the youth now. On the youth level, you're playing at least 3 regional games if that's what it takes to narrow down to the top team, because only one team can represent the region.
Way more money. Y'all generate way more money than we do.
Yeah,
not even.
but at the same time, then you're only going to be dealing with the teams that have real money and are going to show up. Because if they do, keep in mind, Sunshine Bowl had a team not show up in the spring last year.
It all depends on how, I would say, as far as that regional part, it would all depend on how far they're traveling.
And
What is the region? What is the
and
mileage?
by the
But
way,
if you're doing true regionals, the travel probably not going to be that far.
How
right.
far? How far?
All these teams are talking about. All
It's
these
not
teams.
going to be. It's going to be further than what the Bandits had to do last year. It's not going to be further than what you had to do.
Exactly, 100%.
They're not going to agree to that.
Dudes is
But let's say,
traveling to
hold on.
Florida and North Carolina, which
Back
is
to
way
back.
further than what they would have to do to go play a regional.
There are teams in Vermont in the NFL.
Right. So by beating the champ in the Big Six, then you end up beating a team that has beaten everybody on the landscape. So you are the legit regional champion. Period. End of story. And by the way, notice how you have a legitimate crown without classifying anybody as double A, triple A, or otherwise. So,
Sean
but again,
Kellerman, I don't believe that if a team actually puts the money up to play the regional and wins it, I don't believe that they won't show up for nationals then at that point.
but if we talk about money, by the way, if the leagues had to pay, let's say, a $600 buy-in to nationals, that could take care of the fee to send their champion. And if their
Oh yeah,
champion doesn't
absolutely,
go,
100%,
right?
100%. Why can't the leagues? Why can't the leagues then? Okay, now if you have a proper system, then why wouldn't I don't think that any league wouldn't want to help the team that's in its league get to be put on that stage because it only helps their league.
There
The
you go.
LAL does give up money towards your nationals.
Yeah.
They do.
Like if you're in a league that's not trying to help you get to nationals, like really, you probably have to really reevaluate your league.
Right, but
Because
and there you go. And if your league has already put the $600 or whatever it is into the kitty, then you're now the league is the customer of the Sunshine Bowl or the Nationals agency, right? It's like
yeah,
the SEC paying into the NCAA. So if you're
yeah,
paid in, that they're working for you now. Go ahead, what you got?
yes.
I have a question. Do y'all think that the Seminoles, let's say the Pharaohs, the Bears, Rebels when they were around, whatever, CPP, do y'all think that playing in those national games and advertising that helps recruit players?
I think it does.
100% it does. 100%.
Especially even the ones that won't even go on the trip. Just like
Yo, I'm gonna
I've
say
seen
this.
people brag about rings that they didn't even purchase, and they don't even have the ring. They were on the team or on the roster, but they didn't buy the ring. They don't have the ring, and talk about how many rings they got. I've seen people brag about Florida trips that they didn't even partake in. They're not even
Listen,
in the picture. 100%.
listen. My first Florida trip was with the Gators when I was on the Gators. The absolute best experience I ever had in my life. One of the best experiences I ever had in my life when we went out and played the Sunshine Bowl the first time, and we was actually helping Coach D recruit guys to come play for the Nationals and then try to stay on the team for the following year, type stuff. The best thing in the world. Taking those trips is the best thing in the world for your team. Best thing in the
Absolutely.
world for your team.
Indeed. And to tell you the truth, again, you could do it with, going back to our original conversation, Nationals is the easiest way to do it and is the most effective way to do it. But if you're not one of those top tier
Yo,
teams,
word,
taking
Mookie
a,
Miami Nights.
take
Sorry.
take a road trip somewhere on an overnight trip. The team bonding solidifies those teams, even in the infancy stages. You know, when you do an overnight trip, even if you go up to Maine and play, and you stay overnight in a hotel, one of them little cheap, $60
Mm-hmm.
Jones or whatever like that. The team going out. I even told the Patriots guys one time when we went up to Montreal to play a game, and they were like, "Well, what do we need to play better football?" I said, "Pardon the language. Y'all need to go to a titty bar. That's what y'all need to do." And literally, the team bonded over going to a strip club, and the memories from that and the camaraderie from that, absolutely amazing. I think some of them went live from the titty bar, which was crazy, but nonetheless. So that trip was amazing.
I agree with that. Yes. Team
So
bonding is definitely necessary. I do. A lot of older guys when they talk about the leagues that they played in and playing football, they always talk about the trips that they went on, taking these 5-hour driving or whatever, staying overnight somewhere. So I do agree with
Listen,
that.
listen. I'm an old dude, right? I'm not that old. I'm 43, but
You're old.
I'm
Okay.
old. I'm old in semi-pro because I think I started semi-pro in 2004, and my first 2 years on the Ravens with Coach Jim and them, we literally played year round. We was driving to Virginia,
Yep.
taking buses, all of it. We was going everywhere, right?
Yep.
But those in that time, those trips was everything to the team. Like
Absolutely.
when you
And,
look,
and and didn't
in
you guys
hindsight,
pay
when
for
you
that
look
with
at
those
it now,
the
like
bottle
them
parties?
trips and those memories from those trips, like made you as a team.
Didn't you guys do that? Those bottle parties as fundraisers and
Yo,
such.
we used to have every year, instead of dudes paying their dues, we used to do. Coach Jim was very strategic with it. We would throw a kickoff party. We would have a kickoff game the weekend of the kickoff party, and then we would have one in mid-season. We'll have a game or whatever in mid-season or a party mid-season. It was so easy. All the players had to do, instead of paying your dues and this that third, was bring a bottle. You supplied the bar, the liquor, and it was open bar all night. All the players had to buy a bottle or two, and that was it. And we sell tickets for $10. So we would sell tickets to people we knew for $10 or whatever have you, and pack these parties. We used to have the Punisher parties and the Raven parties, and those were notorious. Like those
Yep.
parties would be like packed out, free alcohol all night, whatever like that. But that's how Coach Jim did it, and that's how we did it with the team. We never really was fighting for dues and jerseys, but it was a different time then. Players then,
But okay. So wait, I'm gonna clip you right there, and we've been going for like damn near 3 hours at this point, so I'm definitely gonna sign off. But I expect the two of you to be back next week, Labor Day weekend. I'm gonna do a Sunday morning. I'll delay it a little bit to give you guys time to wake up and such.
Mhm.
And our topic is going to be effective ways of running semi-pro teams in terms of those type of strategies, fundraising, and things like that. Whether
Oh,
it be
you
the
want us to
bottom.
start getting secrets? No, it's not playing.
Yeah, like you
Absolutely.
want us to give secrets away, Pat? What are we
I,
talking about?
I
This might
absolutely.
have to be a paid interview.
Man.
So yeah, I mean the Bob. I know Sean had the poker nights and stuff like that, things like that that we often forget. And it's funny because I was talking. I gotta get Kadeem on here because he was talking about like budgets from way back when. And as I'm looking back at my budgets, the things that I used to finance the team, and I never took a loss. The things that I did to finance the team were just things that I just as I got older, it was just not worth the hustle for me. So I was like, I'll do a little less. Or for example, you'll never guess in 07, 08 with the Spartans, I was able to basically put an extra $2,000-3,000 into the Spartans account to operate the team for the following year based on selling film, the DVDs. We did the weekly
Smart.
show, the little sports center clip that we did for the Spartans, and you had the game film, and we would sell the DVD for $10, and the players would buy the DVD for $10, super easy. And some of them I would just say, hey, look, if we're playing 10 games, just pay up front for all 10 games. I'll charge you 60, boom, boom, boom. And burning a DVD was super cheap back then. But that financed damn near a whole entire season, 100%. Indeed. So,
That's awesome.
Right, Flash. You're right, Flash.
indeed.
But
So,
yes, yeah. But let's catch up later. I gotta get off this.
all right, y'all. I'll holler at you later.
All right, y'all.
All right. So we went extra. It's been a long summer. So, we went extra in terms of time today. But I think we had a pretty good investment, some really good conversations and such. We got to break it up into multiple shows. Big shout out PDF. Again, I will put up the clips from my vacation, show you roundabouts where I was, and kind of take from there. Looking forward on the schedule again, Labor Day weekend. We'll talk about semi-pro business and how to not lose money on this thing, possibly even make some money on this thing, get some roundtable discussion on helping each other because, again, good practice is good practice. What worked in the old days might not work today, but maybe we need to bring some of that back. You never know. All right, y'all, for another episode of Way Too Early with Pat, I'll holla.